but that's our own made-up name. Tonight, Roseburg visits the North Salem Vikings, looking to get that first win of the season after having last week's game canceled at halftime, a game that was only a 2-point margin at the break. Roseburg will look to try and put that behind them and see if they can come out strong here tonight against the Vikings. We're looking forward to a good one here tonight. We've got great weather, blue skies with some clouds off in the distance, but very moderate temperatures that are set to decline as the night goes on. But we don't have the heat we had last week. We don't have the smoke we've had, and we are ready for a beautiful night for some high school football. It actually feels just a little bit like fall. We welcome you into the Roseburg Disposal pregame show. Let them make the run of the dump for you. Give them a call at 673-7122. That's Roseburg Disposal. We're going to go ahead and get in our first break here in the pregame show. When we come back, we'll take a look back to last week's matchup against Nelson and how that played out and what has transpired since last week's contest for Roseburg. We will do that, and we'll welcome into the booth Josh Nelson. When we come back, we'll take a 2-minute timeout. This is the Roseburg Disposal pregame show on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Copy. Did something go weird with the commercial there? Okay. It started early, and then I had a bunch of them. Appreciate them, and so far so good. I'll knock on wood. This chair is made of wood. That should work. Joining me now in the Roseburg Disposal pregame show is Josh Nelson. And Josh, last week a weird one as Roseburg had its game canceled at halftime due to the air quality. It deteriorated with the smoke rolling into the area, and they had to call it at the break. Roseburg was trailing 14-12 at that time. But really, we saw a much improved Roseburg team from week one, where it seemed there was just a lot of disconnect with a lot of players getting their first action of varsity football. And week two, we saw a ton of growth. The offense was moving the ball, scored a couple of times. The defense was playing really strong and had allowed only one offensive touchdown. There was a special team score for Nelson last week. But overall, a much improved performance last week for Roseburg. I was, to say the least, impressed with the growth they had from week one to week two.
Oh, it was an opposite side of the coin. You go to heads, and it looked like one way. You go to tails, it looks the complete opposite. I mean, it was a much improved Roseburg football team overall last week. Very impressed with their improvements, and we'll see. It seems like this team is built kind of to go up against this North Salem team, so we'll see what happens going into this game.
Yeah, tonight, Roseburg taking on a North Salem team that has looked extremely good to start out the year. North Salem 2-0 on the year with wins over Roosevelt and David Douglas. So far, they've allowed just 3 points on the season, which is definitely very spectacular. 3 points allowed. They had a shutout last week against David Douglas. Right now, their defense has been outstanding, allowing just 23.5 yards per, that's passing yards per game. They have not allowed positive rushing for a team at the end of a game. They're averaging giving up negative 10.5 yards per game, and they are giving up 12.5 yards per game total. That is something else. They've allowed a total of 25 yards to an offense so far this season. Roseburg will try to change that around. Meanwhile, their offense is putting up 40.5 points a game, averaging 270 yards. Both they're mostly a run. They run yardage is double what the pass yardage averages are. But Coach Jeff Flood, as you just heard a little while ago here on the Friday night pregame show, Coach Flood telling me he'd like to be balanced, but Josh, they run this wing T base for their offense, so obviously that predicates itself to the run game.
Yes, it absolutely does. I remember something that Coach for Sutherland told me once is he likes to run that wing T because, hey, not everybody does it. You see a lot of spread, so you practice against the spread, but these other teams don't practice against the wing T except for a team when they're coming up against it. I think that's why North Salem has such good luck with that kind of wing T offense because they get to run the ball. You never know who has the ball. The only difference is they're meeting a Roseburg team this time around that their front 5, front 6 guys do a great job at getting to the ball, stuffing the holes, and really not allowing anything past the line of scrimmage. So I'm looking forward to see who can win that matchup tonight. Can Roseburg's defense stand tall like they have the first 2 games of the season and just keep everything behind the line of scrimmage?
We shall see, and we'll take a look more at some of the keys to the game for tonight's matchup as we get ready for it. We're going to have another break here for the national anthem in just a moment as North Salem will take the field. Coming out in their black jerseys with the red numbers. Roseburg in the road whites tonight. Still in the locker room, but getting ready to come out. The coaches are over there. I see them at the high school kind of peering out, waiting to see. I'm pretty sure they didn't want to try and come out at the same time as North Salem. But the national anthem is going to be underway here in just a moment. Before we get there, want to remind you this is the Roseburg Disposal pregame show. You can let them make the run of the dump for you. Give them a call at 673-7122. It's Roseburg looking for their first win as they begin conference play here tonight. They'll take on North Salem tonight, Sprague next week, and they've got another matchup against South Salem coming up in a few weeks from now. And then they will take on their traditional teams and opponents, rivals in the Southern Oregon Conference, the Southwest Conference, those teams that they've always seen, the Sheldons, Grants Pass, and the Medford schools. Those are all coming up later on in the season as well. But now we add in Salem as a part of the league schedule. Looking forward to that. Roseburg coming off of an improved performance last week. We'll see what happens with the Tribe coming in here this week. They are presenting the colors, and we are getting ready for the national anthem on a beautiful night in Salem. We do have the blue skies overhead with clouds off in the distance, and a very comfortable temperatures right now sitting at 69 degrees in Salem, expecting to probably drop to the upper 50s by the time we wrap this one up here tonight. They are presenting the colors, so we'll get ready for our 2-minute break. When we come back, it's time to take a look at our keys to the game, so stay tuned for that. You are watching Roseburg High Football, streaming on 541radio.com. You can also find it on our YouTube channel at 1490 The Score. And this is Roseburg Football, right here on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
We continue on with our Roseburg Disposal pregame show as the colors will make their way off the field after a national anthem by the band here at North Salem. A very fine production of the national anthem as we get ready for tonight's kickoff. Real quick, want to take a moment to recognize a memorial they will have before this game gets underway. North Salem football is honoring Ken Slack, a former teacher, coach, and friend. They say he only stood 6'3" or 6'4", depending on who you ask, but Kenny Slack was a giant of a man in a metaphorical sense. A longtime fixture in the social studies department at North Salem High School, Ken spent 25 years educating, encouraging, and guiding teens at the city's downtown high school, and only retired in 2015 when health problems took their toll. But the beloved 67-year-old Slack would not be deterred from working with the North football program, continuing to serve as a volunteer coach right up until the day that he passed away. That was back in September. He was, let's see here, it says back on September 7th when he passed away. So they honor Ken Slack here tonight, a member of this North Medford football program. And in joining with their program, we honor him as well. They are doing that in memorandum right now. And Josh, we get ready for tonight. I think, it's nice that they are able to do this. It's unfortunate they have to do this, but look, we all know that we've had football coaches that have made impacts in our lives through the years, or coaches in general, teachers, and folks that have just been mentors to youth in our lives as we grew up. And you can see it seems as if some folks down there definitely touched. A moment of silence here.
Thank you very much.
And they conclude that it's what football can be about. It's what being an educator can be about. And obviously, this Mr. Ken Slack, he took it beyond that as well, touching many lives on the sideline down there. As you can see, some folks tearing up, and definitely some folks that sad about this moment that they have to honor him here today. But unfortunately, sometimes life deals you lemons, and now we look to try and move on. Speaking of which, I will try to transition out of that to tonight's matchup. Looking at this one, Roseburg last week, unfortunately, had their game at halftime cut short, and so now they look to try and kind of regroup. That was a bit of an awkward ending to that game, so they're looking to try and put that behind them and regroup. But we saw a lot of improvement, as we have talked about. As you look at tonight's matchup, you talked about play down in the trenches, obviously going to be a key. Coach has talked about how that is a position group that is going to 100% dictate the success of this Roseburg team. As you look at it tonight here, Josh, what do you feel are some keys to tonight's ball game?
Well, you're going to have to slow the game down a little bit, but the clock's going to continue to run with them running the ball constantly. So you're going to have to get them stopped very quickly. Don't give them an extended possession. So if your defense, get them 3 and out. You need to get it done quick. If your offense, you got to continue to.
Talking real quick with some of the coaches there for Roseburg, the assistant coaches making their way up here, and we're all set to go. Looking forward to it here tonight. High atop the grandstands at North Salem High School, they're out there to flip the coin. We'll have the results of the coin toss and the opening kick for you when we come back. Take our final break. That does it for the Roseburg Disposal pregame show here on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
For over 100 years, Douglas County Farmers Co-op has been serving the needs of farmers, ranchers, and homeowners throughout Southern Oregon. Here, everyone is welcome. When you shop with us, you can expect good people, good products, and good advice. No membership needed. Just bring yourself, and we'll provide the expertise and products you need to tackle your next project. Douglas County Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop.
With the video. They are slowing it down here to wait for the clock. But welcome, everybody, to Little John Field at North Salem High School, getting ready for kickoff. Roseburg will be kicking away, moving right to left on your radio dial. Josh, the opening coin toss, what was the results?
It looked like North Medford won the toss, deferred to the second half. Roseburg is going to kick off to them. So North Medford actually deferring to the second half, but wants to receive the ball. You don't see that very often.
So the Vikings, I almost called them the Black Tornado. They kind of look like that, and they got the big in out there for North. That's going to be fun to North and North Medford and North Salem in the conference this year. But Roseburg will be kicking away right to left. It'll be Tiger Black out there to kick it. You've got two men deep to return for North Salem. Actually got maybe three guys back there that could do the duties. A wobbly kick that will go to the 20, picked up at the 19. Shimmy shake in the middle, waiting for some blocks to develop. Hit from behind as the return man will go down. Coming up to help make the stop for Roseburg was Boston Williams. Out to the 34-yard line goes the return man. On the return for North Salem was Eric Gonzalez. So North will have the football starting at their own 34-yard line as we get this one underway. That will bring out their junior quarterback, and this one's going to be a mouthful, TC Manu Maliuna. And he is a junior, 6'2", 205, has multiple D1 offers, according to a report I read online. He'll set up under center with two backs behind him. They do run a bunch formation. Give it to the deep back, running over the right side of the formation. With the carry, it is Jarek Wengler who will take it out to the 41-yard line on the first carry of the night.
And that's a great run right there by North to be able to push it up the field, pick up 5-6 yards. You couldn't ask for anything best. And you know what? This is going to get confusing between North Medford and North Salem. They got the exact same colors.
Yes, they do. Jarek Wengler, a junior, 5'11", 170. Last week, 27 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Handoff this time to the more of a fullback, the halfback, weaving his way through traffic, Josiah Davis. In week one of the season had 133 yards and 3 scores, a first-team All-Stater in the 5A classification last year. He moves the chains as he runs into Roseburg territory to the other 44.
And he looks big from up here. He looks bigger than 6'1" if you're looking at him from up here. He stands taller than everybody else in the huddle for North Salem.
He picks up 15 to move the chains. First down of the game. Up to the line comes Christian Camacho, the senior center, who will snap the ball. We'll run through the rest of your starting offense for the Vikings. Running left side, met in the hole. Coming up, it's Tyler Reitman to make the stop, but not before a pickup of about 5 yards on first down for the Vikings. They're going to just ram it down your throat. They pick up 5 on the carry. Once again, it's Wengler.
And Tyler Reitman just stood tall. He had a big runner coming at him. He stood tall. He was able to just fill that hole. Runner ran right into him. He put him right on the ground.
So the run goes down to the Roseburg 39, a pickup of 5. It'll be second down and 5 under center. Goes the quarterback, TC Manu Malianu, and he'll hand it off to Josiah Davis. Manu Maliuna. That one's going to give me troubles. Hands it off to Davis, who goes for the first down to the 32-yard line. That is a pickup of 7 on the ground. It's been 4 straight run plays, and they are moving in to Roseburg territory, nearing the red zone.
And as long as North continues to be able to run the ball and pick up a first down every 2 or 3 plays, there was no reason for them to even try to throw the ball.
Chris Arson, the tight end on the right side of the formation, out there with wingback Damari Thompson, the fullback in the backfield. There was movement early. Penalty flag from the far side of the field. And it's encroachment on the defense, so it's going to be against Roseburg here on this first down play. First penalty of the day. It'll be a 5-yarder that will make it first down and 5.
And that was a hard count by North Salem right there. Use the hard count, try to get them to draw off sides, make it first and 5.
Eric Gonzalez last week, 5 catches, 120 yards, and 4 TDs. Spreads out wide to the left side. 2 backs, Davis and Wengler in the backfield. Might be a passing down. No, they'll hand it off to Davis again. He runs over the right side of the line. He's met 5 yards deep, and now will carry 4 Roseburg tacklers inside the 20 to the 16-yard line. He does not go down. 6'1", 225. Last year had 20 rushing touchdowns, tied for the most in the 5A classification, and he only played in 7 games.
No, he is big. Davis is 6'1", 225, like he said, and he is big. It's hard for him to come down. I don't know if he has a great, short, small center of gravity or what it is, but he comes off right now. He's off the field checking his helmet.
So they will go to a new man in the backfield. That is Kyler Hammond, a senior that'll be back there for Davis. They fake the handoff to him. They go on a reverse. The ball's on the floor. It's on the turf, and I think Roseburg might have been the first man on it. The signal is Roseburg with the takeaway on the fumble. They tried to go with a trick play, a fake handoff, and then go to the back. Damari Thompson cutting from the outside back to the center of the field, and he couldn't get a handle on it, and Roseburg comes up with the takeaway.
Yeah, it was, I believe, Thomas that picked up that fumble right there for Roseburg. It was just a miscommunication by North and handoff, and didn't think they were getting the ball. That's the problem you run into running that wing T is sometimes the quarterback's trying to pull it, the running back grabs it, and it just drops on the turf.
So a loss of 5 on that fumble, then recovered by Roseburg, and now we get our first chance to see Brogan Rackley. He takes over at quarterback this week for Roseburg, and a flag out before the play. And it's encroachment on the defense, according to the far side judge. Brogan Rackley, a junior, 5'9", 140 pounds. He'll be filling in for Owen Bentia out this week. And that is unfortunate. Bentia looked like he was starting to find a groove last week, but out this week. But Roseburg still has Caden Eckel in the backfield. They also have Boston Williams set back there as they go with a 2-back set. They have Jace Wilder to the near side, 2 targets to the far side of the field for the Tribe. Move Jordan White in motion, and that's going to be against Roseburg. White did not get set in his motion. He tried to go with the old Canadian Football League motion and get a rounding start on the snap, and you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. You can't be running straight up at the line of scrimmage either. You could continue in motion and hike the ball, I believe, as long as you're just going east and west.
So Roseburg gets 5 yards on the North Salem penalty, then gives up 5 yards on their own penalty. It's back to first down and 10. Rackley in shotgun. He's got Eckel to his right, even with him. Williams is the deep man behind him. He's going to pitch it to Boston Williams, looking to throw. Williams nowhere to go. High tackle. Penalty flag is out as Boston Williams gets taken down. We'll see where they give him his forward progression. I think it'll be at the 11, but this penalty flag could be beneficial for Roseburg.
Yeah, and it looks like that penalty is going to be like a face mask.
Yeah,
hit the
it
head,
was.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, face mask called. So Roseburg lost yardage back to the 11, but then the penalty flag's going to wipe out the play, and it should be 15 yards. As the officials will confer. Up along the line, Tiger Black, Brayson Parker, James Coleman, Kyler Mills, and A.J. Baker, your starting offensive line for Roseburg.
They're going to say it's 15 from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, it looks like it.
So it's not going to move the chains, but it should give them first down and short.
They are moving the chains. I think it's resets first down. No.
Yeah, they're not moving the chains.
Yeah, they were moving them, but they move them back. So it'll be first down. We have not had a play without a penalty. So that was North Salem with the penalty. It puts the ball out at the 25-yard line. So it'll be first down and 6. And there is a penalty. North Salem's trying to blitz heavy here early on. and they have been too aggressive. This time it's the linebacker, Kyler Hammond, trying to come off the edge, and he got a little too anxious, couldn't time the count, and North will give another set of free yards. It'll be first down and a yard for Roseburg.
Normally, those are free plays. Like, you throw the flag and let the play go on. On defense, you don't stop the clock or stop the play.
So Roseburg's probably called a few different plays here to start out this game, but they haven't really gotten one in. They'll hand it off this time to Caden Eckel. He gets back to the line of scrimmage and doesn't get anything more than that. Eckel right back to the 30, so it'll be second down and 1 as Roseburg gets its first official play in the books. Last week we had a half of a game that didn't end up counting in the stats. Now that is the 6th time that Roseburg had snapped the football or had set up to snap the football, and that's finally the first official play of the ballgame for Roseburg. Second down and a yard. Trips to the left side. Out there, Caden Austin making a start tonight along with Wilder and White. They try to send a blitz again. They'll run opposite of it. Things open up for Eckel. He gets to the edge, and a saving tackle from Nevin Zeller, the defensive back, a senior. He got his arms on the shoulder pads and brought down Eckel. If not for that, Eckel's at least into North Salem territory.
Yeah, Caden Austin had a great block down the field there. Allow Eckel to have that room that if he would have just got past that tackle there, he would have been gone for a touchdown.
First down and 10 now on the play by Eckel, picks up 7 yards. James Coleman, the center, looks back for the call here with Rackley in shotgun. He will fake the handoff, going to take it himself, bounces it outside, tries to get a stiff arm away. He gets taken down. He was dragged down by his jersey, then a hard hit from linebacker coming up to get him. He goes to the 39-yard line for a pickup of 2.
One thing you'll notice tonight, especially on the broadcast or as we're talking tonight, the quarterback, Boston Williams, if you notice, he keeps going over to Coach Heiberger to get the play and then run back to the huddle to give the play off to the offense.
That's Brogan Rackley, the quarterback, taking over there, the junior. 5'9", 140 pounds. They'll break the huddle. Wilder will spread to the near side. Ball near the right hash mark. Out on the far side of the field, Luther, Austin, and White. To the right of Rackley in shotgun is Eckel. Fake the handoff to him. Rackley going to try and take it himself, but he goes straight on into a defender and cannot win that battle against Ezekiah Sandoval. A senior 5'9", 220, brings down the tackle right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It's third down.
And that was a quarterback option play. You're supposed to read the defensive end outside linebacker there. If they stay home, then you hand the ball off. Well, they stayed home, but he did not hand the ball off, which allowed them to pretty much stop him at the line of scrimmage.
It was a decent fake. I wasn't sure who had it at first, but just not necessarily the correct read. Trips to the left side. And one spread to the far side of the field. 4-man front with the ends in a 2-point stance looking to pass. Rackley, his first pass of the night, and he went short. Wilder was going deep, and the miscommunication there will be an incomplete pass, and it's fourth down for the Tribe.
And that was kind of the same thing that we saw the very first week with Roseburg, was the miscommunication between the quarterback and the receivers. That was definitely a miscommunication because quarterback was throwing the ball completely in an area the receiver wasn't at all.
So Roseburg will bring out the punt unit. Tiger Black in week 1 of the season, the only stats that count for him. He averaged 35.8 yards per punt net. One man deep to return is Gonzalez back there at his own 25. Black waits for the snap. Coleman delivers it. And Tiger gets away the kick. It's heading to the sideline and is well out of play, so that's not going to get him as many yards as they had hoped, but where's the official? He keeps running around over there. I'm not sure where he's going to end up on the sideline for the first down. There he goes. He finally settled. He ran all the way down to the 25, comes back out to the 42.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
I think he's still doing his warm-ups. So we have first down for North Salem with 5:58 to go here in the first period. North Salem drove into Roseburg territory but fumbled at the Roseburg 21. They'll start out with the ball at their own 42-yard line. Manu Maliuna will be under center. No, in shotgun with two backs bookending him on either side. He will hand it off. Almost a fumble on the handoff there. Davis in the backfield will not get away. He's a big guy, hard to bring down, but Roseburg had the bodies back there. One of the leading guys in is Brogan Rackley, quarterback, also playing defensive back, and he comes up with a stop there.
did a great job being able to wrap him up and bring him down just by himself.
Back to the 38-yard line. That's a loss of 4 on the ground for Davis. First tackle for loss on the night for the Tribe. Roseburg gave up 309 yards of offense in their Week 1 loss to Mountainside. Last week was doing better, but didn't count towards their official stats. Again, a shotgun snap, looking to pass out to the far side, and getting in there to get a hand on it is Brevin Harrison, the junior. If he reacts one step faster, he might have a pick six. Instead, he just knocks it away for the pass breakup, and it's 3rd down and long for the Vikings.
And if you're Roseburg, you take that any day of the week. Just knock the pass down, don't allow a completion, makes it 3rd and long.
Last week against Nelson in one half, Roseburg had only given up 100 yards of offense, so they had done pretty well. They gave up a 90-yard kickoff return for a score to the Hawks, but they had done well against their offense. Meanwhile, Roseburg's offense last week, 193 yards. That was better in one half than they did in the entire game against Mountainside in Week 1. Right now, the defense trying to come up with another big stop. It's 3rd down and 14. 5:12 to go in the first period. Roseburg will send some pressure. Out of the pocket goes Maliuna. He'll throw on the run. Downfield, it's caught. Coming back to the ball. It's a foot race. Roseburg has players down there trying to bring down Eric Gonzalez. And a nice play on the run for Manu Maliuna. And he will move the chains as the ball into the red zone for the Vikings.
And it was just a missed tackle by Brody Robinson at the very beginning, number 6 for Roseburg. He decides to put a shoulder into him instead of try to wrap him up, and didn't bring him down, which allowed him to pick up all those yards.
48 yards through the air to Gonzalez to make it a 1st down and 10 from the 14-yard line. Roseburg's half of the field for the Vikings. They're in striking distance. After 3 plays, Roseburg had him at 3rd and long, couldn't force the punt.
And this allows North to go back to their traditional game plan if they so choose and just run that wing tee.
They'll go with the shotgun snap again. Quarterback calls for it, a bit of an awkward snap, the handoff, and there's nowhere to go. The shotgun run game not really working out right now for the Vikings as Roseburg's plugging the holes. Josiah Davis cut down in the backfield, loses a yard, back to the 16.
Tiger Black and James Coleman came right through that line. They were able to get off the offensive line blocks and get there to bring them down.
Manu Maliuna will call the play in the huddle. The ball sits in the middle of the field at the 16, 2nd down and 12. Clock counting, under 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. Still scoreless between Roseburg and North Salem. Under center, Malu Maliuna. He will run the trick play. They get it to Davis. He's into the secondary at the 5. He gets taken down from behind. Coming up to help make the stop is Harrison. And if not for that, Davis might have had a chance to get in the end zone. He made a couple of nice cuts there in the middle of the field in traffic, and that got him into open space.
And that's going to be 1st and goal right there for North there. Only the 1st down line was on the 3-yard line.
So 1st and goal from the 3. Fresh set of downs. They spread out one target to the far side of the field. Neil Kniefel under center. The quarterback gets it, hands it off to Davis, and he did not attack the hole with all that much momentum, and Davis is redirected backwards. He will lose a yard back to the 4.
No, Roseburg's defensive front is hard to run on. They're showing it once again. We saw it in the first week where they held up on 4 downs at 1st and goal. So it's going to be hard to run if you try to run in the middle. You have to run outside if you're North Medford. 2nd
down and goal from the 4, down to 2:48 and counting. They take their time in the huddle here. Head coach Jeff Flood, his 15th year, 2-0 this year. He is now 36-98 overall at North Salem. They will give it to the fullback, Wangler, at the goal line, still on his feet, but he is pushed back short of the end zone. He'll make it to the 1. It'll be 3rd down and goal after a pickup of 3 on the ground for the fullback, Jarek Wangler.
If you're North Salem right now, I'd almost try to maybe toss something out on the wings. You're not having very good success trying to run up the middle on this Roseburg defense.
They did on the early going of this game, but Roseburg has employed a nice defensive attack. They are just 1 yard out, and you'd think with their big backs that they have, they feel confident that they can cash it in. Out to the far side goes Kniefel. Everybody else tight to the formation, calling for the shotgun snap. It's a penalty against the offense. False start, and that will back up North Salem just a little bit.
Yeah, you saw it happen. It was the two offensive tackles that made that start late. And so that backs them up. This makes you wonder if maybe you spread it out now.
So now it'll be 3rd down and goal from the 6 for North Salem. Lights starting to take effect here at Little John Field. Eric Gonzalez, their really all-star wide receiver, a guy that head coach Flood feels could play on Saturdays. He's on the sideline. That's why we're seeing Neefel out there. He's got his helmet off. He's stretching out his right leg. Neefel spreads out wide to the right side. Under center goes the quarterback. Fake to have. No, gives it on the sweep on the far side. Roseburg reads it perfectly. It's Damari Thompson trying to go on the end-around sweep. The wingback takes it inside the 5, but he can't find the end zone. He'll go to about the 2.5-yard line. It's 4th down and goal.
Between this Roseburg front for the defensive line and the linebackers for Roseburg, they're doing a great job at sealing out these holes. It was Tyler Reedman that came in and was able to help make that tackle along with about 3 other Roseburg players.
A couple of guys come off. Wangler and Thompson come off the field. Gonzalez is headed back into the game. And so it'll be 4th down and goal, and it looks as if North Salem is going for it. They'll have the quarterback, Manu Maliuna, in shotgun with Davis to his left. 2 targets to the left side, 1 spread out wide to the right. They'll give it to Davis, running up the middle. He is wrapped up and brought down, and Roseburg, once again this season, comes up with a goal line stand. It's a turnover on downs by the Vikings.
You can't run on this Roseburg team. If anybody wants to learn it now, you just cannot run in the middle on this Roseburg team.
North Salem runs down the clock, just 25 seconds left, but Roseburg comes up with a huge stop at the goal line. They get the turnover on downs. They stop them at the 2. Now they'll be backed up against their own end zone, but they do get the ball back, so that you cannot argue with that. Rackley, the new quarterback for Roseburg, will be in his own end zone taking the snaps. 25 seconds to play in the first quarter, still scoreless. In shotgun, Rackley moves White from left to right. High snap, give it to Eckel. He'll sprint around the far side, just tries to bury his shoulder into the linebackers, and he at least will get it back to the line of scrimmage, trying to muscle his way a little bit further, only gets right back to the line. No gain. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as we might see the end of the first quarter here.
If I'm Coach Heiberger right now, I want to see him run directly straight in the middle, north and south. Quit trying to do this east to west type of thing.
They got some big bodies in the middle up there up front for North Salem. That might be part of the reason why they try to go to the edge. We'll see what the plan of attack is as we will flop sides of the fields after 1 quarter of play. It's scoreless between Roseburg and North Salem. We'll take a 60-second break and come back with the second quarter here on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
Roseburg football here on the Score tonight, brought to you by Dr. Lance and Randall. They are accepting new patients. Give them a call at 541-378-6694. 2nd down and 10 from their own 2-yard line for Roseburg after the turnover on downs to finish things out in that first quarter against North Salem. This time it's a quarterback keeper for Rackley. Tries to weave his way over the left side, and he gets cut down right around the line of scrimmage. Maybe a short gain to about the 3, and it's going to be third down and long for Roseburg.
And that is a long ways to run from where he's at right now to Coach Heiberger to get the play, run back, try to get it called, and then try to get this ball snapped off in time.
They are youngsters. He'll be all right, right?
Oh,
That's what all of us old folks like to say. He'll break the huddle. Rackley, the starting quarterback tonight, the junior in shotgun with Eckel to his right. 3 targets to the right side. 1, Jace Wilder, spread out wide to the left, and movement early in Roseburg. It's not going to be a lot of yardage, but they'll back up half the distance to the goal line. A lot of penalties early on, Josh.
There is a lot of penalties early on, except for if you look in the first quarter, North Medford, I have them down for 4. I only have Roseburg down for 1 in the first quarter. Now you got their second 1 in the second.
It'll be third down and a little more than 10 yards, not a full yard more. They will go on the draw to Eckel up the middle. He slips a couple of tackles, gets out close to the 15. He might have it. He's going to be right at the line to gain. It looks like the 13.
They're moving
and they are going to move the chains, and Roseburg wants to go with some tempo here. The run by Eckel takes him out to the 13-yard line. It was a pickup of 11. It's a keeper for Rackley, and that didn't work out. He is trapped in the backfield, nowhere to go. And Roseburg wanted to use some tempo, and it might have backfired on him.
Yeah, it looked like they wanted some tempo there, but it looked like there was miscommunication between Eckel and the quarterback on trying to see who was actually going to have the ball.
And Roseburg will take a timeout as they lose yardage back to the 10, a loss of 3 on that play. And we'll go ahead and take a quick one as well. A 30-second timeout. Roseburg and North Salem, they are scoreless in the second quarter on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Tonight's ball game here on the Score and streaming at 541radio.com is brought to you by Western Oregon Jewelers and by Chuck Swarman Family Auto Repair. Are you ready to go where life takes you? Here in the second quarter, it's a scoreless ball game. Roseburg facing second down and 13. Tonight's game streaming online at 541radio.com. Video coverage brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe. Shotgun snap for Rackley. He'll hand it off to Eckel running left side. Found a little bit of space, not enough to make up the distance lost on the tackle for loss on the last down. Gets back to the 13-yard line. I guess he did pick up the lost yardage. Back to the 13 on the run by Eckel, and it'll be third down and 10.
And if you're Roseburg, you got to complete this. You got to convert this third and long, be able to get a first down, stay on the field, just pick up 10 yards.
10-17 to go here in the first half. Austin, Luther, and White spread out to the left side, or right side for the offense. Eckel in the backfield with Rackley. They bring some pressure. Rackley steps in front of one defender, but he can't hold off another. The ball is on the turf, and it's going to be recovered by North Salem. And the Vikings will get their first takeaway of the night. Both teams with a takeaway. The ball is going to be placed inside the 10, and Roseburg's defense is going to be up for another challenge, backed up against their own in line. Down to the 8-yard line is where North Salem will take over. 10 minutes exactly on the clock.
I really feel like the ground caused the fumble on that. When you look at the replay here, he slammed down to the ground, and then the ball came out, so it should not have been a turnover, but the referees called it that way.
So North Salem recovers the fumble. Both teams with a fumble recovery. It'll be the offense back out on the field for the Vikings. Manu Maliuna will turn, hands it off to Davis, running right side. Things open up. He's got one safety to beat, and he runs him right over. Landon Hodges. No way. He was bringing him down by himself. Into the end zone goes Josiah Davis, and North Salem will capitalize on the turnover. They lead 6-0 pending the extra point. 8-yard touchdown run for Davis. And Davis looks like he does the extra point kicking as well. He'll set up. Low snap, no good. It'll be Gonzalez running things as the holder, tosses it to the end zone. It's taken away by Roseburg, and they will whistle it dead. So the try no good. It'll stay a 6-0 ball game as Josiah Davis takes it in from 8 yards out here in the second quarter to give North Salem the lead. 9:55 to go. We'll take a 30-second timeout and come back here on 541radio.com and on the score. 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
For over 100 years, Douglas County Farmers Co-op has been serving the needs of farmers, ranchers, and homeowners throughout Southern Oregon. Here, everyone is welcome. When you shop with us, you can expect good people, good products, and good advice. No membership needed. Just bring yourself, and we'll provide the expertise and products you need to tackle your next project. Douglas County Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop.
Roseburg football here on the score is brought to you by Barnes Heating and Cooling, your complete energy company. Visit barnesheatingandcooling.com or give them a call at 541-459-1545. One play, 5 seconds, 8 yards, touchdown North Salem, leading 6-0. Josh, at that point, I mean, that's what you expect out of North Salem. Use Josiah Davis just to pound it into the end zone from that far out.
Absolutely. Biggest guy on the team, it looks like, for North Salem. Put him in, give the ball to him, feed him the rock.
From the 8-yard line, Landon Hodges on the return. He fumbled it to begin with, but he collects it and takes it out to the 24-yard line. So that'll be a run back of 16 yards for Hodges. Hodges felt bad for him there. He had one-on-one with Josiah Davis, who seems like moderately listed at 225 against Hodges at 160. And Davis winning that battle at the goal line. Offense back out on the field for Roseburg, trying to get some momentum here with Brogan Rackley getting his first start at quarterback tonight, filling in. He will spread out 3 to the left side of the field as the ball on the right hash mark for the Roseburg offense, moving left to right on your radio dial. Eckel back there with Rackley, and early movement on the right side of the line. That's sophomore A.J. Baker, got an early start on the snap count. And penalties just right now hurting Roseburg. And Josh, you have played football more recently than I have. Change of a quarterback, change of the snap call. Is that maybe something that affects Roseburg here today?
That could be something that hurts them, being on the road, listening to the crowd, not listening to what's going on in the huddle whenever the quarterback's calling it. Quarterback could be talking a little bit quieter than you're used to. Anything like that could change and cause those false starts.
Austin, White, and Wilder to the far side of the field as they hand it off, and they blitz perfectly to catch Eckel in the backfield. Coming in was Enrique Aguilar, the sophomore. Last week had a sack and 1.5 tackles overall, forced a fumble, and that time he blew up the handoff to Caden Eckel.
It was a big hole. He just read that hole perfectly, be able to get there in the backfield, and Eckel was right there for him just to smash.
Loss of 3 yards. It is now 3rd down and long. Excuse me, not 3rd down, it's 2nd down. They had the penalty on the first play. So Roseburg will have 2nd down and long. 18 yards to go. Move a man in motion from left to right. Fake the handoff, looking to pass, trying to set up the screen, trying to go to Eckel. It bobbled around. He could not hang on to it. They whistled the play dead as bodies are jumping after the loose ball. Eckel had it in his hands, didn't bring it in. It was a lob over the defense for Rackley. And Eckel just couldn't secure it on the pass that took a while to come down to him.
And right now, if you're Roseburg, if you know anything about Roseburg or you watch them last few games, the next play call right here is going to be something deep down the field. We'll run the ball, then we'll try the screen, especially when we're backed up, try to pick up the yards. But now that it's 3rd and run, I expect to see something long, at least, a 15, 20-yard post or just a straight down the field.
Ball sits at the 16-yard line. Got to get it to the 34 to convert. Watch out for the screen, or I was going to say the draw as well, but they go back to the screen, and Eckel trying to make something happen, cannot get away from the defense. sure-handed tackling. That's what we expected out of this North Salem team that has only given up 25 yards of offense total to its opponents coming into tonight's matchup, and they come up with another stop. That ball back to the 14. Roseburg losing yardage on the tackle.
And the screen's not setting up right for Roseburg right now. The offensive players that are supposed to be grabbing the blocks, they're not being able to grab the blocks. I don't know if this North Salem team is faster or what, but they can't grab the blocks, so you're going to have to probably change to something other than that short screen.
Negative yardage on the pass for Rackley, his first completion of the season. A big booming punt out of Tiger Black up into the lights. Comes down at the 47, Roseburg's half of the field. Gonzalez running towards the sideline, gets tossed out of bounds, and a second flag will come out. There was one back near the return man, and Jordan White looked like he might have drawn a holding foul, but then Roseburg, it looks like they'll get called for a late hit out of bounds on the far side at the conclusion of that return.
Well, I saw the one on this side. I couldn't see the one closest to the sidelines here, but I saw the one. It was definitely a hold on the very first play or flag.
8:05 to go here in the first half. The ball is at the 29-yard line after the return. The first flag is back at the 41. So they're pointing to the first flag. That flag is for a block in the back against North Salem. The other flag is for a personal foul against Roseburg. So I would imagine they mark off the penalty from the 40, mark off the block in the back penalty, and then mark off the personal foul penalty?
That
would make sense to me.
Sure seems like he's going to do, but Coach Heiberger's trying to figure out if he's going to do it from, they're doing it from the penalty, and then they're going to move it 15 yards forward.
So that will kind of help Roseburg, that the penalty be from the other side of the 50, and then they'll walk off the 15 yards back the other direction.
I don't think I've ever seen that before, to be honest with you. Normally it's offsetting replay the down, or I don't know.
I think because it was a dead ball penalty at the end of the play. So that was a North penalty back to the 50. Roseburg penalty up to the 35-yard line on Roseburg's half of the field. So the return man never crossed the 50. He started on Roseburg's half of the territory, took it down to the 29-yard line, but there was a penalty flag at the Roseburg 41 or 40. They counted off the 10 yards from there for the block in the back penalty by North Salem. Then from the 50, after that penalty, they counted off the 15 yards for Roseburg's penalty, and that will put the ball at the 35. Roseburg's half of the field. It is first down and 10 for North Salem. And they start in Roseburg territory for a second straight time, leading 6-0. They hand off, looking to pass to the near side, has a man wide open. It is caught by Gonzalez. He was wide open. Hodges in coverage out there. Eric Gonzalez, the senior, had to get up to get to it, but Manu Maliuna able to hit him in open territory and take it to the 20.
And it was good coverage by Roseburg. It just the receiver was able to get a little bit taller and grab that ball.
So it'll be a 15-yard pickup through the air for the first down. 2 completions to Gonzalez. The only 2 completions in the game for North Salem going to Gonzalez. Manu Maliuna will set up in shotgun. He's got Davis to his left, Wengler to his right. Thompson, the wing back on the right side, handed off to Davis, trying to get around the edge. That might look like a hold against Coleman. Still on his feet. Davis sprints around the corner, and he's in. And a touchdown, Josiah Davis, his second of the night. It comes from 20 yards out, and it's now a 12-0 lead, North Salem.
North Salem is figuring out real quick that they're able to run the ball on the outside a little bit easier than they can run that ball on the inside.
7:50 to go in the first half. North Salem adding to their lead. 67 yards now on the ground for Davis here in this first half. He got around the edge. It looked like James Coleman just couldn't get away from his blocker as he was getting pulled back. Thought maybe a penalty flag might come out, but none did. And that allowed Davis to really get out around the edge. And then he's a big guy, but he used some good speed there. He'll get a kick away. A toe punt goes through the uprights, and the kick is good. And with that, it is now 13-0, North Salem in front. We'll take a 30-second timeout. This is Roseburg football on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
From a high Hot Tin Shed, Paul W. Klipsch, genius and maverick, designed and hand-built his first commercial loudspeaker with the intention of bringing live music right into your living room. Today, we still make them like we used to, by hand, with passion, with pride. Klipsch Heritage Loudspeakers.
Give Klipsch Heritage speakers a listen at Good Vibrations, top of the hill, Northeast Stevens in Roseburg.
Kickoff from Davis, going right to left on your radio dial as Roseburg will get the ball back with 7:50 to go in the first half. Trying to get a little bit of offense going here. See if they can find a way to get on the board before the break. Tonight's game brought to you by Roseburg Honda. Buying a car can be a hassle, but at Roseburg Honda, it's different. Customer satisfaction, their highest priority. Visit Roseburg Honda, where they treat you like family because they are family. Line drive kick goes to the 19, picked up by the Roseburg return man, weaving his way up the hash marks. Now just trying to protect the football as he gets to the 33. The return man is Robinson, the sophomore, doing a nice job. And I think towards the end, there were just so many bodies around him, he just tried to make sure he had a hold on that football and that he didn't let it go. He'll take it out to the 33, 32. Where were they? They'll spot it at the 33-yard line. And Roseburg, decent field position to start here. 7:40 to play. First half. Rackley in shotgun. He's got Williams to his left and Eckley, the deep man, behind him. They will hand it off to Williams as the fullback, and he gets stood up at the line. And Roseburg's front line right now, Josh, is not able to hold off this defense from North Salem.
No, right now I think this is probably the worst we've seen the front line for the offensive side of the ball actually struggle. In the first 2 weeks, it seemed like they were holding together pretty well. This week, there seems to be some sort of miscommunication or something on the blocking assignment side of the ball.
Some big bodies up there in the front line. 220, 270, 240, 240. They are pressuring as they go with the four-man front. Now the linebackers will come across and late flag, but yes, we all knew there was one coming. North Salem they're being very aggressive with the defensive side. They have been blitzing quite a bit, and they have not been shy about showing it.
No, they're not shy about showing it, and they're also sending two extra guys. They're playing a 4-3 defense right now, is what North Salem is playing, and they're also blitzing two guys. It looked like the outside linebacker on the far side and the middle linebacker were both blitzing on that play. 2nd and 6 as they again look like they might send some pressure. Both outside backers, the inside backer up there as well. They back off a bit as Rackley slows down the count. Now they will try to send some pressure, and off the edge, coming in to make the tackle, that is Kyler Hammond, the outside linebacker, got in the backfield and is right there to wrap up Caden Eckel. And Eckel will get a breather as he gets taken down for a loss. Back to the 36, actually, a loss of 1 on the run for Eckel, and they bring in Nick Parrish to run. And what's happening right now is the reason why it looks like Roseburg's offensive line is struggling is because there's more guys than what they can actually block coming at them, which means there's man-to-man coverage on the outside. They're going to have to do something quick on the outside.
Luther and White on the right side, Wilder to the far side. They try to set up another screen. That one almost picked. North Salem read that one perfectly, and in the middle, Imius Aguilar almost had a interception that would have been an easy one there for him.
Well, last week you saw like the Oregon Ducks play quick, outside, easy completion passes. You're going to have to do that, I think, if you're Roseburg tonight. Throw little quick swing routes or something out to the receivers. Keep the defense honest. It'll back those linebackers up. Then you'll be able to open up that run game.
Punt coming here from Tiger Black on 4th down and 7. Black gets his right foot into it. That's another big kick. Gonzalez heading towards the sideline. That one off of his arms, down inside the 10. He takes it to the 5. He's going to try to make Wilder miss. He does. And maybe a hold there, not shown, but a tackle now made short of the 20. Boy, coming in there for Roseburg. I saw arms flailing as he was flying around. Dylan Bradfield Looked like somebody might have gotten a hold of him, but he doesn't get the flag. Nice return, making something out of nothing for Gonzalez. Sets up the North Salem offense, I think, around the 17-yard line is where they'll get it.
Well, I think on both sides of the ball, you're seeing on special teams a lot of holding going on both sides. There's a lot of trash talking going on between both sides as well, especially on special teams. You'll look on a punt or a kickoff. There's a lot of extracurriculars going on that probably needs to be cleaned up on both sidelines.
Nice job flipping the field for Tiger Black. It'll be 1st down and 10. 5:39 to go in the first half. Spin and hand it off. The running back spins out of the middle of the formation. He gets stood up. The whistles haven't blown. Now they will. The ball carrier, I believe, is the fullback Wangler. Yeah, he is the one that had that one. And he will pick up a modest yards on 1st down out to the 23 as he picks up about 5 yards on that carry. 4th carry of the night for Wangler. 2nd down and 5 for the Vikings. Spread out Neefel to the near side. Gonzalez on the sideline. Turn, they will give it on the end around, wide open out there. A foot race to the gap and taken down just in time. Hodges coming in along with Bazio to make the stop on Damari Thomas. And Josh, he's a guy you cannot let get into open territory. In 5A last year, he was the 100 and 200 meter sprint champ. He's got quick speed, and he got into some open space there, and Roseburg thankfully pinched him right in time before he gets to the 50.
Yeah, Roseburg pinched him, but it was like Roseburg was loaded on the far side, which allowed that open lane on this side.
26 yards on the carry. They will go up the middle this time with Davis, who just continues to be a load. Just hop on the bus, and he continues across the 50 inside the 45. Takes it to the Roseburg 42, and he's a yard shy of the 1st down. So it'll be a 9-yard carry on the ground for Davis. Wangler comes out of the game, the fullback. So does the tight end, Christopher Harson. Thomas also on the sideline, so they're really mixing it up here, and they will really spread it out. Trips to the far side of the field. Gonzalez all alone on the near side. They will hand it off, and whistles before the play. It's a false start going to be called against North Salem. So it'll be the offense called for the penalty there, so they will mix it back up, and here comes back the wing T base. So they bring back in the fullback, the tight end, and the wingback. So it goes from 2nd and 1. They were going to go all out to try and see if they could send it downfield on short yardage. Instead, now it's 2nd down and 6, and they will go back to their base. .348 here in the 2nd quarter. Right now, 13-0, North Salem leading. Roseburg trying to get another stop. Had a stop inside the 10-yard line, stop inside the 5-yard line for a turnover on down. Also have a fumble takeaway, but North Salem has started to find a groove here in the 2nd quarter. Move a man in motion, fake the handoff to him, and give it up the middle. Davis, I believe, the ball carrier there. No, he was the motion man. They will give it to Thompson running up the middle. The speedster going right through the middle of the offensive line. Takes it to the 45 for a pickup of 2.
And Tiger Black was the first one off that defensive line to get to the runner, and then Kyler Mills ended up helping bring him down at the very end.
3:05 to play in the first half. Roseburg will get the football to start the second half of this one. 3-man front. No, make it a 5-man front now. Turn, hand it off. Davis running right side. They open up a hole for him. He bounces it around, gets into the secondary. Still on his feet as he spun around down to the 20-yard line before he is blasted by Reitman. They'll put him down at the 21. That is a pickup of 24 yards on the ground. And that ball, they opened up a big gap on the right side. He ran through it. Then he made plenty of moves to get free through the defense.
No, and Tyler Reedman's the last man. It would have been a touchdown otherwise. Tyler Reedman's only 5'10", 180 pounds against Davis, who says is 6'1". I swear he looks like he's probably 6'6", but it says he's 225.
They go with the fullback. He is met in the hole, pushed back, and it was Williams that had him, but he didn't wrap him up. Boston Williams did a great job filling the running lane. Didn't wrap him up, but did a nice job to push him back, but then he kind of lost track of him. Thankfully, the rest of the defense was there to help clean it up. A gain of 1 on the run by Wengler.
And if there's anything positive about Roseburg that you've seen on their defense, if one guy gets a wrap up, the entire team runs to the ball. And you've got to sit there and be impressed with that. Always running to the ball, always swarming to the ball, no matter what. They don't give up. They play to the last minute of the ball game.
Long snapper practicing on the sideline. They might be preparing for a possible field goal to finish out the first half. Give it to Davis running right side. He's met in the backfield, and that is Tiger Black going down the line from his right side to the left side of the defense. And Tiger getting there to get the stop, and that'll be a no gain on the carry by Davis.
And that's what you need if you're Roseburg right there. You got to stand tall. It seems like at Roseburg's front 5, front 7, they do a great job at doing that. They get into a 3rd and long situation, especially right when this team or their opponents are in the red zone, it seems like, is when Roseburg stands the tallest on defense.
It'll be 3rd down and 10. They actually put him down for a loss of 1 on that one. Shotgun snap. Looking to pass. Gonzalez on the left side. They go to the fade route to the back corner of the din zone. In and out of his hands. Some hand fighting out there, but in coverage. Brody Robinson right with Eric Gonzalez. Did a nice job to make that a difficult play, and Gonzalez couldn't hang on to it. He did a great job to get back to the ball and put an attempt on it, but couldn't hang on.
Did a great job defending by Roseburg on that play to be pretty much step and step and to make the hit right as the ball got to the receiver's hands, which I think helped actually break up that pass.
So it'll be 4th down and 10 now. The ball's at the Roseburg 21-yard line. Decision time here for North Salem. It doesn't seem to be much of a decision. They appear to be going for it. They will set up with trips to the right side of the formation. Davis in the backfield along with Manu Maliuna. High snap. He will hand it off to Davis. Davis wide open. No one on the left side of the formation. It's an easy score on 4th down. They go with the misdirection and bring it back to the left side of the offense for the score. From 21 yards out, it's a touchdown by Josiah Davis. A score to make it 19-0 with 51 seconds to play. There is a North Salem player down, and his teammates were immediately calling for the trainer, so hopefully maybe not as bad as it initially seems, but we will wait to see on that. The PAT unit will come out for the Vikings. 3rd touchdown of the night for Josiah Davis. This time from 21 yards out. He's got 120 yards on the ground so far this evening. And the player for North Salem is up and walking off the field on his own, so I guess it will not necessarily be, doesn't look nearly as serious as his teammates were making a look at first.
Roseburg on that play had a linebacker that was lined up outside there that got sucked into thinking the play was going to the Roseburg side of the field, and when he got sucked in, that's when Davis made that move to the left. He kind of stutter-stepped, kind of wait for that linebacker to move towards Roseburg's bench, and then he had an open lane for a touchdown.
There with nobody there. Some movement on the PAT attempt here. False start, so that'll back him up. The man that was down is the center, senior Christian Camacho. He makes his way to the bench. He was limping. He drops down his helmet. Seems to be in a little bit of pain, but was able to make it to the bench on his own, so trainer will work with him now. They'll back up the PAT, and we'll see if North Salem continues to go with the kicking game. It looks like they will. Gonzalez, the holder, will set up for Davis, the stud running back, who is also their kicker. Hit the last one, the first one, bad snap, and they ended up trying to throw it to the end zone. Placement down here, kick is up and away, and it's no good. It'll stay 19-0 right now. It is North Salem in front with 51 seconds to go here in the first half of our ball game. We'll come back after a 30-second timeout. This is Roseburg football on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
Davis in to keep up for the Vikings. Hodges and Eckel, that keeps the receive for Roseburg.
Kickoff coming for North Salem. Tonight's ball game brought to you by B&D Meats, located in Winston, and by Tim's Appliance and Mattress at the corner of Lane and South Stevens and Roseburg. 0% financing is always available. Davis will get ready to kick it away. Roseburg with Eckel and Hodges deep. They stack it up to confuse the kickoff team on who to kick it to. That ball will land in the middle. Eckel will get it at the 21. Things open up a bit for him. He's got some space. He will stretch it out to the 45-yard line, and a little boost of momentum for Roseburg on the kickoff return. Caden Eckel, nice job getting that one and just finding a way to swim his way upstream against the kickoff return coverage by North Salem. He gets it out to the 45 to start off on this drive.
Probably the most yards that we've seen from a Roseburg special teams or offense so far tonight. It was a really good return by Caden Eckel.
Yeah, Roseburg has struggled so far offensively. We'll look at the numbers coming up at halftime. 44 seconds to play. They give it to Eckel again. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage, and that has been the problem. Roseburg has not been able to work much beyond the line of scrimmage tonight. That front, they know that Roseburg is relying on the run game so far tonight with a new quarterback back there, and it has just been tough sledding to try and open up some lanes. Fake the handoff, looking to pass. Is Rackley going to go downfield? Lofts it out there for White. He had him. Tried to drop that one in a bucket, and it was almost there. Jordan White just a step away from getting to that football.
Yeah, just a little bit slow, kind of slowed up looking at the ball. If he would have kept going a little bit forward before he turned to look, I think he would have had that step, and that's what Roseburg needs to do. They need to get it down the field, especially against this North Salem team, because right now North Salem's sending the house almost every single time. They're sending 7 guys in the box, sending them, trying to blitz the quarterback. Will open up that passing game deep and also out on the wings.
Second down, or make it 3rd down and 10. They will try to throw downfield again. This one up in the air, and nobody can get to it before it hits the turf. It was a bit of a jump ball down there for 2 receivers and 2 defenders. It falls incomplete, and Roseburg will have 4th down and 10.
And right now you've got North Salem sitting there playing back. They don't want anything behind them, so the safeties are playing almost 15 yards off the ball, 20 yards off the ball, and they're playing 2 deep safeties.
So Roseburg will have to try and kick this one away. There is only 13 seconds left to go in the first half. And so Roseburg just looking to probably try to find a way to get the ball off for first. Don't let it get blocked. And then second, just try and let the clock run out here. Big boot. And it is angled to the sideline, well out of bounds, and Tiger Black will not wear off much time. 7 seconds left to go, but leading 19-0. North Salem might just elect to kick or take a knee here and take it in to the locker room. They will have the ball at their own 33-yard line. Coming up at halftime, we will take a look at stats from the first half of our ball game. Recap the scoring for you. Also try and get a look at some possible scores from around high school football here on this Friday night. And we'll get you ready for the second half of our contest this evening. Here from North Salem High School at Little John Field. Coming out the offense for North Salem. And they will go into the formation to take a knee. Whistles. Timeout. I didn't see didn't necessarily see the indication by the official on the far side that it was going to be Roseburg. But
the white hat sat there and started pointing towards Roseburg as if it was a timeout, and I don't know.
Doesn't really seem. Nobody came off the field.
No, and the water. Everybody's confused right now.
They're going to go back to it. I think maybe. Well, there we go. They snap it and take a knee, and that'll run out the first half here. So that'll be it. Take a knee, and the first half comes to a close. Roseburg trailing 19-0 at halftime as North Salem leads here in their home opener from Little John Field. We will go ahead and take the break. When we come back, we'll get into the halftime show to recap the first half of action between the Indians and the Vikings. This is Roseburg football, streaming at 541radio.com, presented by the Cow Creek Tribe, and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Copy. Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be, handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you back here to Little John Field at North Salem High School as Roseburg begins conference play tonight against the Vikings. So far, it's been all North Salem leading 19-0 at the break as Roseburg, with a backup quarterback starting tonight, trying to get the offense going. They've struggled, and the defense has been out there quite a bit so far tonight. As we are here at halftime, let's go ahead and pause real quick for a station identification. This is Roseburg football on the Score. $19-0 your score, with North Salem leading. Taking a look at how the first half played out for you. Well, North Salem got the ball to start the game, and they drove all the way inside the red zone, but coughed it up at the 16-yard line. A fumble recovered by Roseburg at the 21, and the Tribe was able to get a stop on the first possession for the Vikings. Roseburg would drive a little ways. They started at their own 21-yard line, and from there they were able to drive out towards midfield, but came up just a bit short after a drive that started with a ton of penalties. We didn't actually have a play that actually stood in the playbook until the sixth snap of the first drive for Roseburg, as both teams were committing a bunch of penalties. Roseburg ended up having to punt there. But they would stop North Salem on its next drive, a turnover on down at the 2-yard line. North Salem couldn't punch it in. Roseburg got it back. That would take us to the second quarter. Roseburg Unfortunately, though, would turn it over inside their own 10. A fumble by new starting quarterback Brogan Rackley tonight. The junior was trying to escape, got caught in the backfield, and coughed up the football. Recovered by North Salem at the Roseburg 8-yard line. It took one play for Josiah Davis to punch it in for his first of 3 first-half touchdowns. The extra point was no good. It was 6-0 with 9:55 to go in the first half. Roseburg would punt on their next possession. North Salem would score on their next with 7:50 to go in the first quarter, or make that the first half. It was Davis once again, a 20-yard touchdown run. The PAT kicked by Davis, good to make it 13-0. Roseburg again would punt, and they would back North Salem all the way back to their own 17-yard line. And North Salem was, I think, facing fourth down on that drive. After a couple of big plays, they were facing fourth down, and they would get a huge conversion to the 21-yard line on Roseburg's half of the field, and they would then punch it in from 21 yards out, and that would be the third rushing touchdown for Davis in the first half. He's got an 8-yarder, a 20-yarder, and a 21-yarder. The kick would not be good, and it remains 19-0 here in this first half of the ball game. Roseburg will receive the football to start the second half. When we come back after a 2-minute timeout, we'll take a look at first half statistics from tonight's ball game. Roseburg trailing at the break against North Salem in their home opener here on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
For over 100 years, Douglas County Farmers Co-op has been serving the needs of farmers, ranchers, and homeowners throughout Southern Oregon. Here, everyone is welcome. When you shop with us, you can expect good people, good products, and good advice. No member yourself, and we'll provide the expertise and products you need to tackle your next project. Douglas County Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop.
Remember the good old days? When you didn't have to make an appointment or wait in line for an hour just to talk to your teller. When businesses were local and gave back to the community. At Cascade Community Credit Union, there are some things will never change. We're the only credit union or bank headquartered in Douglas County, and making our members a priority has always been our priority. For easy and simplified banking, visit CCCU. No appointment, just come on in.
Roseburg and North Salem squaring off tonight here on Friday night in the Valley. We're up in Salem this evening. We'll be back in Salem coming up next week when Roseburg comes up to visit Sprague. And that will be our second game against the Salem schools in conference play this season. As we continue on with our halftime show here, want to remind you, stick around in the post-game show. We will name our Mountain Mike's Pizza Player of the Game for Roseburg coming up after tonight's contest. The Mountain Mike's Pizza Player of the Game receiving a $25 gift certificate to use at Mountain Mike's. Well, taking a quick look at some of your first half unofficial scores. For North Salem through the air, 2 of 4 for TC Manu Maliuna. He has got 2 for 4 for 63 yards, no scores. Both of those connections going with Eric Gonzalez, who has all 63 yards. On the ground, leading the way, Josiah Davis, the senior running back, has 14 carries, 120 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Also on the ground, Jarek Wengler, the fullback, 21 yards on 5 carries. And also Damari Thompson has 2 carries for 28 yards on the night. On the other side, it has been tough for Roseburg, and I think just with a new quarterback there trying to get things all on the same page, that is a good part of it. 1 of 6 through the air for Brogan Rackley, but unfortunately the one connection he made was with Caden Eckel on a screen that went for -2 yards. Caden Eckel on the ground, 7 carries, 18 yards. He's been stifled at the line of scrimmage quite a bit, had a couple of big carries early. Also, Brogan Rackley, the quarterback, 4 carries for an even 0 yards. So total of 15 yards in the first half for Roseburg, and they're going to have to see if they can dial up some offensive plays that tries to stretch the field. And Josh Nelson joining us back again here at halftime. And Josh, yeah, I mean, you said it multiple times in the first half that North Salem they've got a game plan that is make the quarterback beat them, and right now Roseburg's been unable to find a way to answer that. They've been stacking the box, they've been blitzing, they've been putting pressure on at the line of scrimmage and in the backfield, and Roseburg's got to find a way to get those linebackers to drop a bit and give them some space to work with the run game.
Yes, absolutely. They've got to figure out on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to have to do the screens on the outside with the receivers, not in the middle of the field, or they're going to have to do little swing passes on the outside. Keep those linebackers back. Don't allow them to keep coming at you, keep pounding you, because there are more guys coming at that line of scrimmage than there are to block for Roseburg. They're playing a numbers game right now. So if you keep them honest, keep little swing passes, high percentage passes out on the outside, that will keep that linebacker core back, and then it will allow Roseburg to open up that run a little bit more, and it will really help with Roseburg's offensive line being able to pick up who they need to block. Right now there's so much confusion on that offensive line for Roseburg on who they need to pick up, who they need to block. There's only so many guys that are allowed to block. They have to let somebody go every single time.
Yeah, it's, this is not to say that Brogan Rackley, which I'm not sure if we'll get a chance to see Owen Bentia or any of that kind of stuff. He was the starter for the first 2 weeks of the season. We saw that Camden Hartzell had a cast on his wrist. He has been out in street clothes the last couple of weeks, so he was the backup to start the season. He's out, and now Bentia out, and we see Brogan Rackley. And we're not sure what the scenario is going forward in the backfield, but not to say that Rackley can't do it in the backfield. He just hasn't had the time back there. And we saw from week 1 to week 2, Owen Bentia took a huge leap with that passing game. And now I guess it's Brackley that we got to see if he can make that kind of adjustment. And he's going to have to try and do it quick here tonight to see if Roseburg can mount any sort of comeback effort in the second half. And what really started to happen is, like you said, there's just those passes and trying to find a way to maybe stretch the field side to side to get those linebackers chasing. Roseburg's got good speed out there, but I know you are never much of a fan of running east to west. You want to be running north and south and trying to go, end zone to end zone. But Roseburg's got to find a way to move things around the field, because right now everything's happening right at the line of scrimmage, right in the middle of that offense.
Well, the problem is if you're running east to west on this North Medford team and you don't open up, you don't keep those linebackers honest by throwing out little swing passes, the outside linebackers are crashing down on the outside. So even if you run east to west instead of north and south, they're crashing right down on that run. You've got to open up the pass game with little short, high percentage passes first. Then you'll be able to do what you need to do with the run game.
We'll see what Roseburg dials up for the offense in the second half. They'll get the ball first. Teams are back out of the locker room getting ready for the second half. We'll take our final 60-second timeout, 1-minute break, and we'll come back. We will get you ready for the second half of tonight's ball game. This is Roseburg football on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Back here at North Salem High School, getting ready for the second half. Josh Nelson has been collecting scores of some of the other games of note here tonight. And Josh, what have you been able to collect so far?
All right, so I got a final for you with Elkton at Days Creek. Elkton beat Days Creek 46-0 today. And then Sutherland at halftime. If you're interested, you want to tune in, you want to listen to Sutherland football, you can tune into I-101 with Dan Bain. But Sutherland leads 16-14 at halftime. And then another score that came in right before the break ended here was Sheldon was leading 34-0. That's in conference play for Roseburg there. I'm not quite sure who they were playing.
Sheldon is playing Sprague tonight. I had to flip over my sheet. Apparently I had it on one side and not on the other. But, Sheldon hosting Sprague tonight, and Sprague getting shut out right now against Sheldon, which moved to number 1 in the latest 6A OSAA coaches poll. Other games in the conference tonight, North Medford is at West Salem this evening. McNary is at South Medford. And Grants Pass is going to be at South Salem. And I want to say that they're playing that game coming up tomorrow. We're seeing more and more games being played on Thursdays and Saturdays. An interesting article by the Oregonian recently, and I've seen a few of these from multiple different places about just the lack of officials is causing games to have to get moved around to different dates to be able to just stretch the limited number of officials. Former opponent by Roseburg, Mountainside, at halftime. Mountainside leading Lake Oswego 7-0. So that'll at least help Roseburg's RPI if Mountainside continues to do well there. If you've got a score to report, you can send that to us. You can let us know in the comment section on our YouTube video if you're watching there, or you can hit us up on Twitter. Just hit us up with the hashtag UmpquaPreps. And you can let us know scores of your games, hashtag UmpquaPreps, and we'd love to see those scores. Or use the 541 radio app, another way to get in touch with us here at the field, to send along your scores from the games that you are either also paying attention to or keeping note of. All right, Josh, here we go. Second half. Roseburg's about to get the football to start the second half. We kind of talked about the things that we feel like need to happen for the Indians. To you, it feels like kind of trying to get those quick bubble screen passes out on the edges is going to be the way to go for Roseburg to try and get this one started.
Yeah, or little swing passes too, just on the outside, just little quick passes that'll keep those linebackers out, keep them from crashing in, especially the outside linebackers. Roseburg's done a great job, though. I know we talked about penalties and how many penalties there were at the very beginning, but Roseburg, really, I've only got them down for 4 penalties, 3 in the second half. North Salem has actually been penalized more in this ball game is what I have. I had them 4 in the first quarter. I have them 4 also in the second quarter. So right now, Roseburg's also winning the turnover battle. So, I mean, defensively, that's kind of what you want to see. You want to see less penalties on Roseburg in general, and you want to see winning the turnover battle. They're doing that. Now, Roseburg's got to step up big on defense and not allow that run on the outside. They can stop it in the middle. They do a very good job at that, but they're going to have to keep somebody on the outside at all times and not get them sucked in like you saw on that really long North Salem touchdown run. Keep those linebackers honest on the outside, staying on the outside to stop that type of run on the outside, and I think Roseburg's defense will still continue to do very well. The score doesn't really look like that, 19-0, but Roseburg's defense has performed very well tonight.
And if they can start to find a little bit of momentum, it's a 3-score game, but it's not completely out of reach with one half of football left to go. Tonight's ball game brought to you by Evergreen Family Medicine, serving residents of Roseburg and Myrtle Creek with 40 providers and adding coverage in Sutherland by April of 2023. Tonight's game also sponsored by Flyaway Travel. You can contact their travel experts for your travel plans. Now located at 1445 West Harvard Avenue, or give them a call at 672-5701. Roseburg will be moving left to right on your radio dial for those that are tuned in and catching us on the score or listening on the 541 radio app and at 541radio.com. It'll be Josiah Davis placing the football on the tee to kick it away, right to left. North Salem in black, Roseburg in the road whites. And we are ready to go for the second half of our ball game. 19-0 as we get things underway. It's a short pooch kick. It is on a short hop to Jordan White. He bounces off a tackler. Wow, that he took a hit and just bounced right off of him. Short kick and a decent little return out to the 42-yard line. The tee on that kickoff went from the 40 on North Salem's half of the field to the 34 on Roseburg's half of the field.
Well, and if he had not ran into Tyler Reitman on that play, he probably picks up another 10 yards, but he ran into Reitman, who was trying to block for him, which held him up, allowed for North Salem to come in and make that tackle.
So Roseburg will start out in good position. They bring in the tight end. That is Luther that's going to serve as a tight end, the sophomore, 6'1", 195. He'll set up on the left side of the formation as Roseburg goes a little heavy at the line. They move White in motion. They'll give it to him on the end-around sweep, and he will try to get to the edge. He gets tackled forward, drugged down by the linebacker, but he pulls him forward, so White gets favorable yardage out to the 44-yard line, and that's a play I thought about. The end-around sweep with a wide receiver, something that kind of gets you moving out to the edges and a chance to stretch the field.
And I like that. I like that call right there. That's a change right there. That's going to force your linebackers to quit crashing down in the middle. As long as your receivers can get a good block right there, you can pick up quite a bit of yards.
Spread to the near side is Austin. He's the new starter in the lineup, a sophomore. They'll move the tight end to the right side of the formation, give it to Eckel. He tries to run left side, and they blitzed right in the gap on that one. They went right where the ball was supposed to be going, and there was no lane for Eckel to move. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and there is no space.
And this is going to make a 3rd and 8 here. And it's going to be interesting. We've seen Roseburg get into this situation where they run that screen pass right over the middle. It's going to be interesting if they'll do something different.
Spread out, trips to the right side of the formation for Brogan Rackley in shotgun with Eckel to his left. They will send moderate pressure, bounce it out to the outside to Eckel. He's got space. He's got the first down, and he just steps on the sideline as he picks up the first down into North Salem territory, and Roseburg will move the chains. I want to say for maybe just the second or third time tonight, they will get a fresh set of downs as they're into North Salem territory.
And that's good right there. That's kind of like one of those swing passes. Now, North Medford was yelling screen on that. North Salem. Salem. I got to keep saying Medford. It is Salem.
I did that against Mountainside.
I don't know what is going on with that tonight, but whatever. I'm done talking.
11-yard pickup to Eckel. Only the second completion. They look to pass again. They'll go on the out route. Nice one-handed catch made by Luther. Unfortunately, it slowed him down a little bit, and he didn't get a chance to really turn upfield. But reaching low, Luther pulls that in with one hand, makes the completion for a yard.
Yeah, I really like what Roseburg's doing. The adjustments they made at halftime right now, that is still, like I keep preaching, it's going to keep those linebackers a little bit more honest. Going east to west here, I know we keep saying you want to go north to south, but you're going to have to play the perimeter if you're Roseburg. They're doing a great job at it so far.
If you at least make them play that perimeter, maybe it brings some of that pressure out of the middle and could open things up for a draw. They'll set up tight into the left, 9:48 to go third quarter. Second down and long. They set up the draw, the delayed handoff to Eckel. He'll run up the middle, and he will pick up a nice bit of yardage on second down to make it third and manageable as they'll have 3rd and 3 from the 38.
And it looks like number 56, Aguilar, with the middle linebacker for North Salem, actually read that. He jumped the hole. He just missed the tackle, which allowed Eckel to actually get up and pick up a few extra yards.
Clock continues to tick down to 9:18. It's a 19-0 score in favor of North Salem. Roseburg trying to get something going to start the third quarter. Tied into the right, that's Luther. Fake the handoff to Eckel. Going to run out the right side. Rackley gets close to the 25 or the 35, and that's the line to gain. They're going to say first down on the carry by Brogan Rackley, and Roseburg making some adjustments at halftime.
And that was really good right there because by him keeping the ball and running to the North Salem side of the field and up, he ran away from the blitz because the blitz was on the far side and in the middle of the offensive line. The middle linebacker blitzed, and the far side outside linebacker also blitzed on the outside.
Second first down on this drive for the Tribe. 8:30 to play in the third quarter. They'll move Luther away from the line. He'll set up wide out to the right side. So does Austin is in the slot. 2 targets to the left side for Rackley. Moves White and handoff, turning, spinning, looking to throw. Will square up, goes deep downfield, has Wilder. The catch is made. He's tackled. He gets tripped down to the 4-yard line, but a penalty flag down in the backfield. And it's a hold on Roseburg. And we can hear the Roseburg coaches in the booth next to me. They do not trust the eyes of the officials out on the field.
Well, and it was the white hat that threw the play. He's the one looking right there at that offensive line, making sure there isn't a hold coming around that backside. And sometimes with the pressure Roseburg's getting, North Salem's still bringing the pressure. They're bringing 7 guys almost every single play. But the bad part about it was that was away from the play. That was a hold from the backside away from the play that did not need to happen. If you're Roseburg, you don't need to do that. You need to be conscious of where that quarterback is.
So the holding penalty negates what would have been first and goal for Roseburg on the pass play downfield. They'll back him up to the North Salem 48-yard line. So the penalty was at the 38. They'll lose 10 yards back to the 48. That overall will be a loss of 13 yards from the original line of scrimmage. And so now Roseburg faces first down and 23. Got to get the ball to the 25-yard line. They're at the 48. They'll move Luther to the left side of the formation as the tight end. White will move in motion right to left. He'll cut it off quick. They try to set up the little quick screen, and North Salem expecting it, but they can't make the tackle right away. Thrown forward to the 41-yard line. A pickup of 7 for Eckel on the screen pass out in the flats.
And that's what I like right there. We can talk about it. When you're talking about the far side of the field or the perimeters, Roseburg setting up those perimeter calls very well. We were seeing the screens over the middle from the offensive line. You can do those receiver screens. As long as they're on the perimeter, it keeps the linebackers outside of it. So you have to only beat 1 or 2 guys, and you can pick up a good chunk of yards, just like he did right there.
Be second down. They picked up 7 yards on that one. So it'll be 16 yards to go from the 41. Movement on both sides. Who went first?
There was a
I think it's going to be Roseburg, but the defense was kind of up and moving in the line in the zone, but it is Roseburg on the penalty. And penalties, a killer on this drive for the Tribe. They finally got some offensive momentum, and they've been killing themselves, getting a little antsy on the play. The ball goes back to the 46.
It's going to be Luther on that one that ended up just making a little flinch on that side. He's kind of playing the tight end position on the line there.
Well, there was a guy that jumped early on the defensive line, maybe had drawn him offside. They look like almost somebody lined up in the neutral zone there. Pick on the left side, a fluttering pass by Rackley gets taken away. Penalty flags are out. This is going to go to the 10, a cut back to the inside. Rackley tried to make the tackle, won't get there. It could be a pick 6, but there are 2 penalty flags out there, both it looks like for the same penalty. So this one's coming back. And North Salem,
I think it's after the pick,
yeah,
though.
They'll get the ball.
I think that North Salem's still going to get the ball, and it may be, I don't know, holding. It looks like holding on North Salem is what it looks like.
Well, the momentum for Roseburg started out nice, but now an interception for Rackley. That'll be his first interception of the season.
Well, and it's a good drive for Roseburg. You had the ball for 5.5 minutes. They didn't do anything, but you extended the drive. You moved down the field. You opened up. You kind of played with stuff that we haven't seen them play with a whole lot this year. So I think that's a win for Roseburg right there, being able to hold on to the ball for almost 5.5 minutes.
So the penalty by North Salem puts them right at the 50-yard line. So the penalty was at the 40 on Roseburg's half of the field. So that'll bring them back, and they'll have 50 yards to try and go here with their offense as they get the second takeaway for the Vikings tonight. They lead in that turnover battle. The quarterback will be under center. That's TC Manu Maliuna. He will turn and hand it off to Josiah Davis running right side. It could be a big night for him as he's been 120 yards in the first half. And with a 19-0 lead for North Salem, all they have to do is just kind of keep running this one out. Davis came up a little bit limping after that first down run of 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5, but he stays in the game.
And right now, North Salem kind of figured it out. It's a little tough to run right up the middle against this Roseburg front. They've kind of gone to that outside. Now we need to see Roseburg step up, especially with the outside linebacker position, and try to stop that outside run.
Under center again, the quarterback, Malu. I'll try and get it. I have to look at it every time. He hands it off, running on the end around. Tackle made. Reitman and Hodges there. And it'll be a first down carry for, that was Thompson on the carry after the handoff by Manu Maliuna. I always have to look every time. So that'll move the chains down to the 38-yard line on the run, a pickup of 7 for Thompson. It'll be 1st and 10 here in the third quarter. Josh, no flag on the play still?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, good.
I just saw it.
1st and 10 under center. They hand it off right side. Coleman got initial contact on Davis. He just slipped out of his fingertips, but the rest of the defense there to help clean it up. Nice job by James Coleman to get in there and make the stop. No gain on first down for Davis.
And that's what I love about this Roseburg team. Once they know where the ball's at, even if somebody just holds somebody up for just a second, Roseburg is great at coming up, swarming to the ball, and helping each other out when it comes to bringing down the ball carrier.
4:52 and counting here in the third period. Shotgun now for Manu Maliona. Dropping back to pass. He looks left side for Gonzalez. He gets up there. He turned it. He tried to bring it down and tuck it away, but he dropped the football. If we had replay, if this was the NFL, we could sit and nitpick it all. And that was actually Neefel on the catch, but it looked like he had brought it down and tried to tuck it by his hip and made a football move before the ball fell out, but they will say an incomplete pass.
Yeah, it was really, really close, but it looked like to me that when he caught that pass, he took his eye off of trying to actually catch it, bring it down, and he looked upfield and kind of bobbled it and then dropped it.
So it'll make it 3rd down and 10 for the Vikings, a chance for Roseburg to maybe get off the field defensively. A lot of confusion in the backfield, and Roseburg blows it up. They time the blitz perfectly as the quarterback, Manu Maliuna, was looking to try and hand it off. It's that wing T offense where there's multiple options on where to give it off. As he was trying to spin around and get it to the guy he wanted, there were white jerseys all around him, and Roseburg will have the stop for a loss back to the 41, a loss of 3.
And one of the first players through was the outside linebacker, Braven Harrison for Roseburg, who kind of just chipped him a little bit, which allowed for the defensive line in black to come in and kind of hold him up. They couldn't bring him down to the ground, but they were able to swarm to him and keep him from gaining any more yards.
I do believe it was Davis that ended up with the football. And movement up front. Who got in there first? It's the offense. You had coming up to pressure, Brevin Harrison showing a blitz, and that got the left guard, Aguilar, to start leaning back in his stance. He couldn't stay a statue, and that will move him back an extra 5 yards back to the 46.
You got to watch out if you're Roseburg, though, and if you're Brevin Harrison, number 10 for Roseburg, when you do that, you don't want to get called for intentionally drawing them to cause that false start, because he was right in the neutral zone at the same time.
You got to stay on your side. They will make some changes here. Eric Gonzalez, the wide receiver for North Salem, has been dealing with a right hamstring injury, it looks like, throughout the night. He's down there getting the trainer to have the roller pin on the back of his right leg, and we've been seeing him stretching that out all night, and that's why we haven't been seeing him on the offense. They get a delay of game penalty here against the Vikings, and Roseburg with a couple of penalties against North Salem and their stop on 3rd down, they may actually get a chance to force them to punt here as the ball's back at the 49-yard line on North Salem's half of the field. North Salem's actually back at their own 49. They started this drive on the Roseburg 40.
Well, I kind of feel like they took that delay of penalty on purpose so they'd have a little bit more room for a punt. But it don't look like they're going to punt.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know.
I think they are. I think they've got a man deep to kick it. That high snap kick is away. Not a great punt towards the sideline. It'll bounce at the 32, takes a North Salem roll, and is down inside the 30 at the 26-yard line. Roseburg's defense will hold a nice couple of calls to get pressure in the backfield, and Roseburg gets the stop. Both teams, though, have worn off some time off the clock. There's 3:05 to go here in the third period, and Roseburg will have the football at their own 26-yard line. Tonight's game is brought to you by Fisher's Hearth and Home, serving Douglas County for over 30 years with the largest selection of wood, gas, pellet, and electric stoves and fireplaces in the area. And by Abby's Legendary Pizza, a legendary pizza tradition. Roseburg back out on the field for a second time here in the second half. They picked up some yardage on their first drive, but then got stymied by penalties. Can they get it going again? And movement before the snap on both sides. We saw the linebackers coming up blitzing, but timeout called before the snap, and no movement, no penalty flag. Roseburg will take a timeout. We'll do it as well, a 30-second break here on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Successful companies have a very important secret. Good advertising works and makes them money. That's why your business should contact Lotus Media Group. Let us help you cash in with multimedia advertising. Multiple touches from Douglas County's only Google certified partner and most effective advertising platform. Web, broadcast, print. Make it happen. LotusMediaGroupLLC.com.
Third quarter action from North Salem High School. A little bit of positive momentum for Roseburg, but they do trail 19-0. And if they want the chance at a comeback here tonight in their league opener against North Salem, this may be a critical drive to try and get some points on the board. Yeah, at quarterback is Brogan Rackley, making his first start at the varsity level in the position. He's been a starter defensively, but not on the offense. Hands it off to Eckel. Space in the middle. Eckel, he's weaving his way, gets to the sideline, has a great block out there by Wilder. He gets across the 50 at the 40 before he is taken down in North Salem territory. Let's check. No laundry on the field. A break-off run for Caden Eckel, and the junior, who we know it can be so dangerous when he gets a little bit of room. He'll move the chains and takes it to North Salem's 36.
And that was really good job by Eckel. He actually stopped about 4 yards past the line of scrimmage and saw the good blocking. He followed the blocking on that play. Instead of just trying to go north and south, he followed the blocks onto the outside, which allowed him that huge open lane.
38 yards on the carry by Eckel. He's got 62 yards on the night and a penalty flag out before the next snap. And it's a false start on Roseburg. So that will be another, I don't know how many rounds they got in the gun here, Josh, but they continue to shoot themselves in the foot.
Right now, I think I got Roseburg for 4 in the third quarter, which is the most that they've had in the first 2 quarters.
So Roseburg, 5-yard penalty, backs him up to the 41-yard line. North Salem's half of the field, 1st and 15. Looking to pass, swing it out in the flats. The throw just too low for Caden Eckel. Defense coming up to meet him right at the line of scrimmage, but he didn't get his hands on that one. Rackley needed just a little bit more elevation on that pass. Had him there. Incomplete pass, stops the clock. 2:50 to play here in the third. 19-0 our score. Roseburg trailing against North Salem, but a big run of 38 yards by Caden Eckel has set Roseburg up in North Salem territory for a second time here in the second half. You've got Austin and White spread out to the right side. Wilder alone on the left side. Fake the handoff to Eckel, looking to pass. Going to go, and that pass tipped up by Austin. He couldn't get up high enough to it. He turns over and tries to show the football to the officials, saying he made the catch. We would need a lot of cameras to try and prove that one if he had made that play. Unfortunately, we don't have Amazon Prime Video budget.
No, and he would have to have sold that a little bit better than what he did. I think everybody could see that actually hit the ground there. I mean, it was just a little bit too tall for him to climb up there and try to grab it just off his fingertips. It was a good play. It was coverage. It looks like North Salem is actually playing a zone defense right now.
They'll go trips to the right side of the formation with White, Austin, and Luther, and another penalty flag is out, and it will be another false start against Roseburg.
And right now, Roseburg just shooting themselves in the foot. They have a great play moving them up with that run, and then it seems like every time after that, it just keeps moving them backwards.
I think it's just the pressure of this North Salem defense has the offensive line eager to try and get quickly off the ball to make sure they are on their blocks, and they have just been a bit antsy and happy feet up there at the line. Coleman, shotgun snap, back to Rackley, looking to set it up. They'll go in the flats. It's out to Eckel, but the linebacker coming up and making a huge play on Eckel to make the stop on the far side of the field, and it'll be 4th down as the completion goes for no gain.
Well, and North Salem's realizing what Roseburg's doing, what they've told us, and the linebackers, actually both outside linebackers for North Salem, stayed back. They stayed home. They watched the play develop, and then they were able to get the jump there. He had plenty of time to read that Eckel was going to get that ball out on a little swing pass.
2:12 as the clock continues to tick here in the third quarter. Tiger Black to punt it away. Nobody deep to return for North Salem as they watch for the fake. Black will get the boot away. Might be a bit too much. That one not out yet. It did go into the end zone. Jace Wilder tried to sky into the end zone and toss it back, but I think once it breaks that plane, I think that is when they will call the touchback. So into the end zone on the punt by Tiger Black. Roseburg, again, breaks off a big run. Penalties kill them on that run, and they have to punt it away. And North Salem will get the football with 1:57 to go here in the third quarter, starting at their own 20-yard line. Roseburg football tonight brought to you by Good Vibration Solutions for home theater and automotive audio. You can feel it at Good Vibes. For those watching online at 541radio.com or on our YouTube channel, 1490 The Score. The video stream is brought to you by the Cow Creek Tribe, celebrating, I think, a 40th anniversary this year. First down and 10, fumble in the backfield. They will get the quarterback scrambling to try and make something. Manu Maliuna could not get away after he fumbled the shotgun snap, and he gets taken down inside the 15, back to the 13-yard line, and Roseburg will drop him for a loss of 7.
Right now, overall, both teams are having trouble on the offensive side of the ball, whether it's penalties or a bad snap or something. They're having a hard time. They're getting into these long down and distances, it seems like every single time on this second down.
1:20 to go in the third quarter. One target spread out wide to the near side. They've got Eric Gonzalez still on the sideline with no helmet in his possession. They'll pass it on there. They'll go on the end around. They get it to Thompson, the speedster. He's going to outrun everybody. Nobody's catching the 100 and 200-meter champion in 5A last year. He breaks it off for a long touchdown run. Mark that one down as 87 yards to the house for Damari Thompson. Boy, that was quick, and he just showed off all the speed there. We knew he was quick if he could get out into open territory. Goodbye with 1:02 left to go in this third quarter.
And that was just solid defense by North Salem there. Roseburg played it right. The blockers for North Salem there were perfect. They were able to hold their blocks long enough for the ball carrier to get by, which forced the Roseburg defense just to trail the ball carrier the whole time. And with how quick he is, there's no catching him once you get behind him.
I believe that the day is done for Eric Gonzalez. They bring out a new holder for the PAT here, Kyler Hammond. He'll get the ball down. The kick is away, and it's good. Second PAT of the night for Josiah Davis. And with that, it makes it 26-0. North Salem in front. We'll take a 30-second timeout, and we will come back with more of this third quarter on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Fourth rushing touchdown of the night for North Salem, and Roseburg trailing 26-0. They've shown some positive momentum in the second half, but have also hurt themselves quite a bit as well. Josh, you got a couple of updates on some scores from around the Umpqua Basin tonight.
Yes, sir. Score updates right now going on. Camas at the end of the third, or into the third quarter right now. Camas trails Myrtle Point. Myrtle Point's 34, Camas 8. And then on I-101, Sutherland is at Douglas. Sutherland leads 22-20 going into the top of the fourth.
Top of the fourth. I love it. Let's get some baseball action going on. That's not a baseball score, though.
I know. It's top of the fourth quarter, all right? Top of the fourth quarter.
We're in the bottom of the third quarter here in this one. 1:02 to go. Kicking away is Josiah Davis. He'll do a squib kick towards the sideline, and it will go out of bounds at the 21, so that'll be a penalty on North Salem, and Roseburg will have favorable position to start out here on this drive.
Good heads-up play, though, there by number 4, Landon Hodges. Even though it's special teams, we're talking about we're looking for positive things. That's a positive thing. Landon Hodges was right there. He was ready to grab the ball if he had to, but he allowed for it to go out of bounds, which actually gives Roseburg better field position.
It's always a dangerous one on those ones rolling towards the sideline because you never know which way a football is going to go. But, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Let it go to see if it'll get out and set you up at the 40 or 35, excuse me.
Well, he was right there to grab it.
They will hand off to Eckel. He's going to try and outrace the defense to the far side. He'll get to the 40, a pickup of 5 on the ground for Caden Eckel, and the junior continues to run hard, only his 11th carry of the night.
Well, and right now, Roseburg overall the entire night, I mean, Roseburg's doing a great job at still being able to move the ball down. I mean, that's 2nd and 5. You pick up 5 yards on a first down. That's a great play.
Starting to see a few new numbers out on the field for North Salem, but still plenty of starters out there on the field. They lead by 26. 30 seconds to go in the third. A high snap, just pulling it in is Rackley trying to make something as he gets back to the line of scrimmage, twisting down. He goes down hard, and he is slow to get up, but he will run to the sideline for the call on 3rd down and 5.
Well, right now you're seeing a lot of positive. I mean, Roseburg's giving North Salem a little bit more of a fight than they did say David Douglas did last week, who just managed only 8 total yards of offense and negative 14 yards rushing. So, I mean, there's some pretty positive things going on with this stout North Salem defense.
Yeah, North Salem looks real good defensively, trying to pitch a second straight shutout. They've got Roseburg down 26-0 as we head to the fourth quarter. We'll take a 60-second break. Be back with the fourth here on 541radio.com and on the score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
My wife and I moved to Oregon to raise a family, set our roots, and to have a lot of fun outdoors. We quickly realized that we needed a truck or a rig for the projects that we were doing in the backyard. When we were looking to find a place to finance our truck, we asked our patients, and everyone recommended Cascade Community Credit Union. It was so easy to work with Cascade. Everything was done via email, phone, and we didn't even need to go in. I can't wait to finish up the projects in the backyard, go on more adventures in our truck with our boys, and I look forward to working with Cascade again in the future.
A scramble on a broken play to start out the fourth quarter by Brogan Rackley, the new starting quarterback for Roseburg here tonight. And he picks up 2 yards to make it 4th down and 3 as we welcome you back to the fourth quarter. 26-0, North Salem in front of Roseburg. 11:28 to go in the final period of tonight's home opener for the Vikings, and they've looked real solid. Saw somebody describe them as a title contender in 6A this year. They were a 5A school last year, made it to the quarterfinals. They look solid. They'll be a playoff team, I would imagine, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things continue to go for this North Salem team. And movement on the line. Well, penalties have just, it'll be interesting to see what the final numbers are on review, but penalties have definitely been adding up. And this one's going to hurt Roseburg on 4th down. They were trying to draw the defense offside. Instead, it's the offense that jumps.
Yeah, and I think I probably missed 1 or 2 on the Roseburg side in the third quarter, but I ended up showing 5 for Roseburg in the third quarter. North Salem had 3 in that third quarter, which means North Salem's actually doing better on the penalties.
So Roseburg backed up. They will punt away with Tiger Black. I think it is Gonzalez back there, so he'll get into this game. Gonzalez going to try and track down this punt. Waves for the fair catch at the 24-yard line. So the senior who's been dealing with it looks like a hamstring injury is going to just let that one fall into his hands, and they'll take it there, the punt by Tiger Black.
Now, I'm not sure you would risk your senior going out there. I'm not sure if I really like that. If he's been dealing with the hamstring all game, you're up 26-0 with 10:42 left to go in the ball game. I'm not sure I risk him going back out there. I kind of would try to rest him the rest of the night, try to see what's going on with him and get a little bit healthier going into next week.
So out to lead the offense, here is North Salem under center. They put their quarterback, Manu Maliuna. He hands it off to Davis, stays up on his feet, will not go down, switches the ball into his right arm and gets dragged out of bounds on the near sideline. Roseburg had him back inside the 20. That would have been a loss of 4 or more. Instead, he turns it into a gain of 6 as he gets to the 30-yard line. Just such a tough guy to bring down. A 6-yard gain for Josiah Davis. He's over 120 yards on the night, but he has only had 8 yards of rushing here in the second half. They've been giving other guys some of the chances to carry. Second down and 4. Turn and hand it off to the deep back, up the middle, into the secondary on the carry. That is the fullback on that one. Jarek Wangler on the carry will move the chains as he takes it out to the 38-yard line, a pickup of 8.
And that play started on the 30-yard line, and then he sits there and it goes all the way to the 38-yard line. And who else is there to make the tackle? Black.
Tiger Black.
I don't understand. You start on the line, and then you start chasing guys down from behind. We've seen that now 2 weeks in a row.
Outside linebacker Parrish right up on the line as they really stack the box. They're going to give it on the end around to Thompson again, the speedster on the far side. And he will get taken down after a pickup of good yardage, enough to move the chains. It looks like probably about a 12, 13-yard gain as he goes across the 50 to the 49 and moves the chains into Roseburg territory.
And I'm not quite sure on that play. It kind of looked like Roseburg wasn't even set. They weren't ready for the snap, it seemed like to me. And that's why it was so wide open on that far side of the field.
Pickup of 13. At the Roseburg 49, up to the football comes the offensive line, which has done a great job of blocking tonight for North Salem. A couple of fake handoffs, and in the middle, nowhere to go. Back to the 50-yard line, a loss of 1 on the carry by Wangler.
The wing T makes it very hard to call a football game because you're looking, and there are like 4 options of who could be running that ball. The quarterback could run a fullback, another fullback, or running back. You don't really know who's going to have to, so you really have to pay attention, and it kind of stinks because you get drawn into watching that and not actually seeing whatever else is going on outside of the field.
Earlier in the game, we saw center Christian Camacho go out limping after a touchdown run. He's still in this game playing at center. A run left side. And boy, a guy standing out to me right now, I see him running all over the field, is Nick Parrish. Parrish, the junior, started out on the left side, was coming hard off the line, got into the backfield, saw where the ball was going, put on the brakes, and was sprinting to the far side of the field to try and catch up to the play. And I think they gave him credit over the PA for the tackle. It was no gain back to the 50 again for Wangler. And right now it feels like North Salem is just set to try and wear off as much clock as possible.
You know who else is making its presence known, who's flying around to the ball there, is number 16, Boston Williams for Roseburg. He is starting off on this near side closest to where we're at the home stands, the North Salem side, and then he's tracking down the ball carrier too. He was in there for that tackle as well.
Timeout taken by North Salem. We'll take one as well here on a Friday night from North Salem High School. It's the Vikings leading big 26-0 with 7:53 to go in the ballgame on 541radio.com and on the score 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
For the good old days, when you didn't have to make an appointment or wait in line for an hour just to talk to your teller, when businesses were local and gave back to the community. At Cascade Community Credit Union, there are some things will never change. We're the only credit union or bank headquartered in Douglas County, and making our members a priority has always been our priority. For easy and simplified banking, visit CCCU. No appointment, just come on in.
Roseburg will be traveling back up here next week to take on the Olympians. We've got, the Norsemen, the Vikings tonight, and then next week it's the Greeks, the Olympians. So a little bit of everything up here in Salem, the capital city. Skies are black right now as the sun is set. The lights taking full effect here on a Friday night. We're really starting to feel like fall for our football schedule, down to 63 degrees. Right now, 26-0, North Salem in front. 7:53 to go in the contest. Under center is the quarterback, Manu Maliuna. Fumble on this play. The ball's on the ground. It's picked up by Davis. He's in the backfield. Multiple Roseburg players get him, but it is Tiger Black that I think eventually wraps him up and brings him down. Some after the whistle, extracurriculars happening.
It's going to be on Roseburg. It's going to be 65.
I didn't catch, who was
Bradfield,
the offensive guy, but
for Roseburg that ended up pulling the North Salem guy down. I didn't catch the number on North Salem.
Some frustration starting to develop. It is a penalty against Roseburg. Penalty flag was back at the 47-yard line on North Salem's half of the field. Looked like maybe they counted it off from the 45, but
it's going to be an automatic first down because it's a personal foul, I think. So after the play's over with.
No, they're signaling fourth down. It wasn't enough for the first down on the chains, and so they're saying fourth down. I thought that personal fouls were automatic as well, but I think we've seen this a couple of times now.
I don't know.
So the Roseburg penalty will move it all the way to the 41-yard line. Nelson's half of the field. They've got fourth down and 2. He'll turn and hand it off to Davis. He bounces it outside with the blitz coming in, uses a stiff arm on Parrish, and still on his feet down to the 31-yard line before he is finally taken to the ground.
But that's what I'm talking about. Look right there. There was only 3 Roseburg players out of 11. There's only 3 Roseburg players that were not involved on rushing to the ball there. You had every other Roseburg player out there around the ball to help make that stop. Just by Parrish sitting there and holding up the ball carrier for just a second.
Unfortunately, that penalty after the play does end up killing Roseburg. They had fourth down and would have been long, probably forcing a punt. The penalty made it instead fourth down and short, and North Salem easily converts. 7 minutes exactly to go in the ball game. Handed off to Wangler. He's taken over kind of as the lead back as Davis getting a rest here late in this ball game. He has carried the load over 130 yards tonight. Wangler gets a carry of about 5 yards on first down. It looks like he picks up 4 to make it 2nd and 6.
And North Salem's in no hurry at this point, just taking their time, calling the plays, letting the clock run, trying to get out of here.
26-0 our score. Tonight's ball game is sponsored by DC Farmers Co-op, where everyone is welcome to shop, and by our friends at Cascade Community Credit Union. They're going to give it to Thompson going left side, but he is met in the backfield. Was that Tiger Black again? They had the fullback. Yep. No. It was Harrison on the ground. Brevin Harrison. He had the fullback, Wengler, trying to block him. He fought him off, pushed him back into the ball carrier, and then fought him off and made the tackle on the ball carrier, Thompson. That was a spectacular play. A loss of yardage back to the 30. That was a loss of 3 on the tackle for loss for Brevin Harrison.
This defense is this defense for Roseburg has just been fantastic. I mean, the score doesn't show it, but it really, they are impressive.
This is a North Salem team that had been averaging 40.5 points a game against other teams. I mean, their defense has obviously shined and only giving up 3 points so far this season through almost 3 weeks of the year. But their defense has been pretty good as well. But Roseburg's has been pretty good. But the offense has been extremely good as well for North Salem. And Roseburg's held them to 26 points with their offense not doing a lot to try and help out the defense. So, yeah, I definitely think you're right in the fact that this Roseburg's defense is solid. They just need the offensive part to catch up and help carry some of the load in the ball game. 5:32 to go. A timeout taken down on the field by North Salem. We'll keep it right here. No other score updates that we've had coming into us as of yet. If you've got a score, please pass it along on the 541 radio app. Easy way to do that. You can also hit us up on Twitter and let us know scores of games there. And we will pass those along. Out of the timeout, 3rd down and long, looking to pass, rolling out to his right, Manu Maliuna. He goes down to the end zone and, just shy of it and went right through the hands of the defender. Downfield is that, I think it was Josiah Bazio down there in coverage. It went right through his hands. Thankfully, the guy behind him, the receiver, didn't get it. Almost a pick there for Roseburg.
No, I think it's because the Roseburg defender jumped up in his face. It made it hard after he missed the catch to judge where that ball was, which allowed it pretty much like a pass breakup.
So it'll be 4th down and long. From the 30-yard line. And the offense looks like it's going to stay out. They bring Davis back out with Wengler in the backfield behind, and there is the penalty flag out for a delay of game. And that'll back him up. It'll make it 4th down. It was 4th down and 9. It's going to make it 4th and 14.
So with 9:38 left in the ball game, Mountainside is ahead of Lake Oswego 17-7. That is a team that Roseburg met at the first game of the season this year, was Mountainside.
So they will bring out Thompson coming to the sideline.
I think they're right there.
Hammond.
I think that's North Salem's first penalty in the 4th quarter.
Taking the delay of game. Goes back to the 35-yard line. Couple of fakes on the handoff, a lot of pressure in the backfield. The ball might have come out at the end of that. Roseburg's pointed that they have it, they will. It was either going to be a turnover on downs or a fumble recovery for Roseburg, and Roseburg gets it. So they will force the fumble and get the football at their own 40-yard line.
And that will even up the turnovers if you don't count the turnover on downs.
So Roseburg gets it with 5:20 to go here in the 4th quarter, have it at their own 40-yard line. Shotgun for Rackley. High snap, he pulls it in, looking to pass, tries to step around the blitz, going deep downfield. The underthrows the receiver, it's picked off. Intended for Bazio, but he just couldn't get it deep enough with the pressure on him defensively. And it is Jamar Soladoab who comes away with the pick. And that'll be the 2nd of the night for Brogan Rackley.
And that right there, I shouldn't have said anything about the turnover battle being evened up. That allows for North Salem to take the lead now.
So that turnover will set up North Salem, 5:11 to go in the ball game at their own 43-yard line. And they will set up under center. Still the starting quarterback out there, still starting fullback. Wangler running. Penalty flags come from the backfield. It would be a pickup of about 5 on the carry if it stands.
Should be a hold, it looks like, on North Salem, and it is.
So the penalty flags are going to count it off from the end of the run. So the penalty will back them up to the 38-yard line. So it's a gain of 5, but then they mark it off from the end of the run. So they'll move them back 5 yards. It'll be 1st and 15. Handoff on the end around. Gets out there to Thompson, the speedster, into open territory. Takes a big hit from Boston Williams. Unfortunately for Roseburg, it was enough for the first down, but Williams puts a licking on Thompson.
If Williams doesn't actually make that hit there, I don't know if anybody from Roseburg actually would have been able to stop the ball carrier. I think that would have been another touchdown.
So they take it to the other side of the 50-yard line on the run. That would be a pickup of 21 on the ground for number 21. They'll go in through the middle with the fullback, and he bounces it outside. Wangler will pick up yardage on 1st and 10, down inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. That's a pickup of 7.
And, you know, we got 4:06 left in the ball game right now, and we kind of saw this during the first week against Mountainside. Roseburg's not hanging their heads. They're still playing the ball. They're still playing physical on defense. They're still swarming to the ball. They don't quit no matter what. Even if this game is over, even though you know Roseburg's probably going to lose this game being down 26-0, they're not quitting. They're still fighting for every inch.
From the 34-yard line, 2nd and 4. Running left side with Thompson. Got the block from the fullback, and he bounces it around the edge, gets wrapped up, spun forward. You know, I've been real impressed, though, with North Salem's runners. Even with contact, they continue to move. Even the small guy, Thompson, only 142 pounds is what they listed him at. He's a speedster, but there he took some contact, still fought to get an extra yard and move the chains.
He did, but see, Roseburg players, even on the defensive side of the ball, after the play is over with, they're tapping each other on the helmet like, hey, good job. And that they had a good reason to say good job because they made the running back keep going out wider and wider and wider because they kept filling in all the lanes, that the only thing open was that outside, which allowed that Roseburg defense to continue to push outside and still get him and only allow 1 extra yard after he had contact.
Again, a run for Wangler, and he will not go anywhere back at the 30-yard line. So no gain on 1st and 10 as the clock ticks down to 2:45. For a 2nd down and 10. Handoff in the backfield to Davis. He tries to bounce it out. He's lost yardage, but he will keep the play going. He gets back to the 30 and will gain nothing as he gets back to the line of scrimmage. And so it'll be 3rd down and 10. Clock continues to tick here for North Salem, down to 2 minutes to play.
Still Roseburg fighting hard. 2 minutes left to play. Still not giving up anything. I mean, on that defense, you only give up the line of scrimmage. These guys are still talking to each other. They know the game's over with, but they're not giving up. They're not hanging their heads. I said it the first week. I'm saying it again. I mean, this Roseburg defense, this Roseburg team just does not quit no matter what.
3rd down, 10 with 1:30 to play. Fake the handoff to the fullback. Give it to the wing back. Thompson running left side. That was going to be a collision. It was. Thompson taking on Hodges on the far side down to the 26-yard line. A pickup of 4, but it's going to be 4th down. 4th down and 6.
And then 4th down and 6, the clock still running. You probably just try to run the ball again, see if you can pick up the 1st down. If not, you're giving Roseburg the ball with maybe 10 seconds left.
So 4th down here, they will try to run it. Yeah, at this point, no reason not to. Give it to Davis, trying to stretch it to the sideline. He's caught in the backfield, and Roseburg will gang tackle him down at the 30. It'll be a loss of 4 and a turnover on downs. 32 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter. Roseburg will get it back, and we'll just see how aggressive they decide to try and be down by 26. A player
and
down
Davis
on the field.
Is down, it looks like. I think that's Davis down on the play. His helmet's off. He's kind of just laying flat out there. That if I'm North Salem, that's a little bit concerning right there because he's your big bruiser back. He's your power back. He's your workhorse, I think, to try to get in. Yeah, you've got some smaller, faster guys, but you do not want to see him down on the turf right now.
So as we wait to see, hopefully not bad news for Josiah Davis. He has been fun to watch. Dealt with injuries last year. Only played in 7 games. Still managed to rack up 20 rushing touchdowns, tied for the most in the 5A classification last year. And he is. They're looking at his lower right leg at the moment. So hopefully he'll be all right. This North Salem team, some talent. We've seen TC Manu Maliuna, offers from Florida State, Miami, Oregon, Louisville, apparently, according to a report I read in the preseason breakdown of this team. And so he's a guy that's a third-year starter and bright future for him. Josiah Davis, they have thoughts that maybe he'll have a bright future getting a chance to play elsewhere. Eric Gonzalez, another one. But really, this is not great news right here. Late in a game that they are winning handily, Josiah Davis, right ankle, he's not putting any weight on it at all as he limps to the sideline. And Josh, I mean, never want to, second-guess coaches and whatnot, but this game, was there a need to have Josiah Davis out there trying to run the football?
No, and I was thinking about bringing that up, but then I looked across the field, and look, the starters for Roseburg are still out there, and they don't necessarily need to be out there either. You've got some guys rotating in and out, but it's a question mark. It's high school football. You're not really that deep, though, with high school football, so I don't know.
32 seconds to play. Roseburg in shotgun. Rackley will pull it down, gives it to Parrish running right side. And Nick Parrish will get his first carry of the night as he goes to the 33-yard line and picks up 3 yards. And Roseburg will look to try and rush to see if they can get a couple more plays out of this one. 10 seconds and counting as this one about to go final. A handoff off the middle as the clock hits triple digits. Running for a first down is Parrish. Gets it out to the 45-yard line. A pickup of 12 as the game comes to a close. Final score is 26-0. North Salem is your winner tonight. They'll go to 3-0 on the season. And for Roseburg, they'll fall to 0-2. That game canceled last week. Boy, sure does stick in your craw. Roseburg could maybe have had a win. Never know what would have happened there, but maybe could have had a win. A win tonight for North Salem, but you look down on the sideline right in front of us, and that feels like a loss. Josiah Davis, their starting running back, they are looking at his right ankle, and he seems to be emotional about it.
Yeah, he's they got him on a cart. They brought a cart out over here because he couldn't put any weight on it when he walked over. Although there was something promising, a little bit more promising. When he was getting on the cart, he was putting a little bit more weight on that ankle, but he does look a little bit of emotional, holding his head down, maybe wiping away a few tears.
Well, our final score again, 26-0. We'll break it all down for you as we head to the post-game show. We'll take a 3-minute break, and James Coleman, the senior for Roseburg Center, comes over to wish the best of luck to Josiah Davis on the cart.
So did Coach Heiberger. He made his way over here as well.
He had a heck of a game. Unfortunately, ends it on the cart. We'll break it all down for you in the postgame show coming up after a 3-minute break. Roseburg falling to North Salem 26-0 tonight on 541radio.com and on the Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
To us, pizza the way it ought to be isn't just our slogan. It's our promise and our passion to give you the best dining experience and the best tasting pizza you expect. For over 40 years, we've been making pizza the way it ought to be. Handmade with the freshest and finest ingredients. Our dough is made fresh daily, and we use 100% whole milk mozzarella cheese and toppings edge to edge. There's pizza, and then there's Mountain Mike's Pizza. Pizza the way it ought to be.
Deciding where to purchase your next vehicle is just as important as the vehicle itself. At Roseburg Honda, our seasoned staff is dedicated to matching you with the right car. From sales to service, our goal is to make sure all of your needs are met, and you leave our dealership feeling good every time you visit. No need to waste your valuable time driving up and down the freeway when the ultimate car buying experience is right here at home. Roseburg Honda. We treat you like family.
Hey there, sports fans. Thanks for watching this local sporting event online at 541radio.com. Did you know there's more than one way to watch games online? You can watch games on your laptop or desktop computer, your tablet, or even your smartphone just by going to 541radio.com. But we also use YouTube to stream all of our video broadcasts, which means you could be watching this game on your big screen TV with a number of different streaming devices. You can stream our live YouTube broadcast through your PlayStation or Xbox gaming device, or through streaming devices like Google Chromecast, Apple TV, or Roku. There's plenty of ways to follow this live local sporting event. Plus, you can find past events archived on 1490 The Score's YouTube channel. Find us on YouTube and subscribe today to keep up with the latest in local sports coverage.
Final tonight, Roseburg falls against North Salem, 26-0. As North Salem gets their third victory of the year, Roseburg trying to have to break in a new quarterback again, a junior starting for the first time. Things look much better first, but unfortunately fell behind and still could not, against a very tough defense in North Salem, could not pick up any momentum. Josiah Davis for North Salem, a big night tonight, but he goes off the field on a cart with ice around his right ankle, kind of a high ankle area it looks like. And so we will hope for that young man that things are not as serious as they seem. Obviously a very talented back that North Salem will rely on this season if they can keep him, but we will see how things go for him going forward. Well, this one, most of the damage done in the first half. I think, let's see here, we had one touchdown in the second half, an 87-yard score in the second half by Damari Thompson as he broke around and showed off his speed as the 100 and 200-meter 5A champion last year in track and field, and he was able to get free for the score. Other than that, it was all in the first half. North Salem led 6-0 with 9:55 to go in the second quarter as neither team scores in the first. It was Davis that scored from 8 yards out. Davis would put one in from 20 yards out to make it 13-0 with 7:50 to go in the first half. And then with 51 seconds to go in the first half, he would get his third and final touchdown of the evening. And that one came from 21 yards out to make it 19-0. And then in the second half, Roseburg showed a bit more positive momentum on offense, but couldn't sustain drives because they kept hurting themselves with penalties. But they give up the one touchdown in the third quarter. Neither team scores in the fourth. Each team turning the ball over a couple of times in this matchup. 26-0. Josh, positives that we could take away from here. I know it's rough to watch Roseburg get shut out again, and they have now officially. Last week they scored 12 points before the game got canceled. The game doesn't count towards any of the official stats. So officially Roseburg still has not scored a point this season. So that is definitely tough, and obviously there is a lot of improvement needed for Roseburg. But positives from tonight's game is that this North Salem team had been averaging 40 points a game. They had only given up 25 yards of offense to teams this season. Roseburg tonight is going to be at least the best offensively against North Salem. They don't have a lot of offensive yardage, but they did get some. And that's at least some positives to take away. And you think about it going into this matchup, Roseburg, a new quarterback again in the backfield, still trying to get all the pieces together. Looked like they had some things going last week before Bentia gets injured. And now Roseburg's kind of back on the starting blocks trying to figure it out again.
Well, I think when you look at it overall, Roseburg was able to move the ball down the field. They didn't score, but they were able to move the ball down the field. So that's a win right there against a team last week that only allowed, 8 total yards of offense and negative 14 yards rushing. So, I mean, that's a win. If you can move the ball down the field against a team that does not allow very many yards, period, that's a win, especially when you're using a backup quarterback. Yeah, again, you're seeing the experience. You're using backup quarterback. There was some miscommunication there, but you also saw that Roseburg was able to make some adjustments to allow them to move the ball down the field. Then so the adjustments, the fact that they're able to see that, the fact that they're able to try to move the ball down, I think that's a win too. Dude, so the defense stands tall. I mean, it doesn't show it. I mean, it's a big play and they score, but the defense stood tall all night. I mean, the defense continues to do what they need to do. They took the ball away twice on the defensive side of the ball.
And had a couple of turnovers on down, including one down inside the 5. I mean,
so I mean, overall, Roseburg's defense is doing what they've done from game one. Their offense is clicking a little bit better every single week. I think you saw maybe a small step back just because of some communication stuff, and because you're using a different quarterback. But at the end of the day, I thought come out in the second half and they did even better. So there's really not, I mean, they only gave up one score in the first half overall, or in the second half when it came down to it. So Roseburg did a tremendous job. I thought that they're going to be better. I think this backup quarterback Roseburg has is probably going to move forward as long as he's got to, and I think make improvements as well. So I think, again, next week when going in, you're going to see another side of the coin that's completely opposite of what we've seen and make big steps forward. It's only the third game of the season. You still got 6 games left to go. Season's not over with. I see so much room for improvement, and Roseburg always, so far this year, has slowly made those steps towards improvements. Like even just at halftime, the improvements that you saw with the offense and the game scheme and everything else kind of changing gave them a little bit more momentum going into from halftime. So I'm not real worried yet about where Roseburg's at. I think it's just young. Mm-hmm. You're injured. You're trying to put new guys in different positions. That's going to take a little bit of work. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 1 week. You give it 2 weeks, you're going to see a big improvement. So I'm not real worried. Yes, we're 0 0-2. Only 0-2. We're not 0-3 overall, but there's so much that they can build on. I think the ceiling's there, and I don't think they're going to fall off any. I don't think you're going to see them regress any further than where they're at right now.
Taking a look at some of your unofficial stats tonight, your leaders for both teams on the ground. Josiah Davis, 138 yards, 3 touchdowns for North Salem. Also, it was Damari Thompson. The one big run of 87 yards really helps him he had a couple of really big – he had the 87, and he had 2 runs of over 20 yards. So he really racked up yardage quickly with his speed, finished with 164 yards and the 1 score. The leader in the receiving game was Eric Gonzalez, just 2 catches for 63 yards. For Roseburg, Brogan Rackley through the air, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He completes 5 for 14 for 17 yards. The 4 of those completions going to Caden Eckel for 16. Eckel on the ground, 67 yards on 11 carries. So, I mean, right there, 60. I mean, he had a big one at 38 that helped boost that number. So that really did help on his overall average. But, he continues to be a hard runner on the ground late for Nick Parrish. And those are your leaders from tonight's ball game. So that is it. Up next will be Sprague. We'll have your Mountain Mike's Pizza player of the game here in a moment. But, Josh, any scores that you've been able to collect here to try and pass along this evening?
Right now, I'm still in the process of collecting some. Okay. But as I told you earlier, Elkton was at Days Creek. They beat Days Creek 46-0. There, I do have a final in the Sutherland at Douglas. Douglas ends up beating Sutherland 26-2 after trailing since halftime, pretty much by 2 points. Douglas ends up winning 26-22. And then Mountainside, that game came to a final against Lake Oswego. That game is 24, Mountainside, Lake Oswego 7. And then I had Sheldon up, I think, roughly at halftime at 34-0. And then I had Camas against Myrtle Point. Myrtle Point was beating Camas 34-8.
Camas Valley in that one, yeah.
Yeah, and that was at the end of the third quarter.
All righty. Great stuff there. I'll let you see if you can scramble together anything else as we get ready to name our Mountain Mike's Pizza player of the game here tonight as Roseburg falls against North Salem 26-0. Mountain Mike's Pizza the way it ought to be. You can find them there on West Harvard Avenue by the 124 interchange with I-5 and right there a couple of blocks away from Roseburg High School. Tonight, boy, we issued a lot of names. I think this will be our third one. I really do think of a number of different guys defensively that I felt like could get in there. And, I mean, Brogan Rackley was a guy that we saw playing quarterback for the first time. Did a nice job of trying to take care of the football, but also was flying around defensively. We mentioned Tiger Black, and we're just taken away with what he was able to do out there. And Boston Williams, another guy that we saw making some big hits out there. Tonight, though, I am going to go with Tiger Black for his first Player of the Game award here tonight. He was all over the place and likely getting double-teamed throughout much of that, but was constantly in the way. The defense played really well, made a lot of big hits, but we'll give it to Tiger Black tonight, your Mountain Mike's Pizza Player of the Game. Well, Roseburg will get ready to take on Sprague coming up next week. They'll be traveling back up here to Salem, the capital city, for that one. So we'll be back up here for another kickoff on a Friday night for you. Josh, any other scores to pass along here real quick before we wrap it up?
I don't have any other scores, but I do want to say that Tiger Black definitely deserves that. I mean, we've seen it now 2 weeks in a row, even though last week didn't necessarily count, but we've seen it where he is right there on the line of scrimmage. He's helping seal a hole, which he does a very good job at, and then somehow or another chases down the ball carrier from behind. I mean, you're talking about a very big kid in Tiger Black being able to chase down a ball carrier that's pretty much outrunning, it seems like, everybody. I mean, Tyler Black is 6'3", 270 pounds, and he's all over the field. I mean, I agree with that 100%. He seems like he's the leader or one of the leaders on that defensive line. That I don't know. I could almost give a whole player of the game to the entire defensive line every single game just because of the way they continue to play the defensive line and the 3 linebackers. It's just impressive what they've been able to do this season. I mean, sometimes, like I said, you look at the score and it doesn't necessarily show what we're seeing. But what we're seeing is a very well improved, one of the better defenses that I think I've seen Roseburg have in a very long time.
And as you were talking there, it just made me also think of Brevin Harrison is a guy that definitely should be mentioned in this conversation. He had the one where he almost got the pick, got a hand on it to break up a pass in the backfield. That was pretty good. And also had the one where he took on the fullback and pushed him back into the ball carrier, shed the fullback, and then made the tackle on the ball carrier. So a lot of guys did some big things on defense, and that really helped slow down North Salem tonight. Just they didn't have the counter punch on the other side to stay in this one. 26-0 your final score. Roseburg will be at Sprague next week. We'll have that one for you, and we'll have another full recap of what's coming up on that Friday night with your Friday night pregame show as we run through what's going on around the Umpqua Basin on that Friday night pregame show leading into Roseburg football. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in for tonight's broadcast. It's been great to have you here with us. I want to say thanks to North Salem High School for hosting us here this evening. It's been a pleasure being here at the ball field with all of the fans and everybody that came on out. It's a great venue and a nice spot, and they treated us very well here at North Salem tonight. I want to say thanks to Athletic Director Russ Bolin, Head Coach Dave Heiberger, and the entire Roseburg football program for allowing us to bring you another season of Roseburg football here on The Score. I want to say thanks to Josh Nelson helping out here on site, to Tommy helping out with the camera tonight here at the ballpark. Back in the studio, it's Brenton Cranford running the radio production for us here this evening. And as always, a thanks to you, the fan, for tuning in for tonight's broadcast, because, of course, without you, I'm just a guy sitting here talking to myself. I'm Joey Keyran. We'll catch up with all of you coming up next Friday night when Roseburg kicks off against Sprague. We'll have the action for you. You can find schedules and scores of high school football posted online at 541radio.com. We'll have those updated here later tonight as we make our way home. We'll get those final scores posted. So check out all the results for the Umpqua Basin there. All right, we'll talk to you next Friday night from Sprague High School. This is Roseburg football on 541radio.com and on The Score, 92.3 FM and 1490 AM. Thank you, Brenton.